the lowest level of locust family dependence in the history of men's awakening. Therefore, he is often bullied by the rich kid in the class, asking him to hand over 100 MP as protection money. Otherwise, he will lead a 5,000-strong dwarven army to invade his realm, destroy his core, and ruin his future completely. It turns out that this is a world where everyone has the opportunity to become a god. People here are classified into different levels of divinity according to the MP level, including demigod, genuine divinity, deity, divine king, and so on. Every person becomes an adult at the age of 18. Will awaken to realm and gain their core family dependence. Family dependents also have varying levels. People with high talents often can get family dependence with more potential, thus evolving towards higher divine nature. However, the arrival of Wu through the passage disrupted the situation. Only by relying on the assistance of the login chamber could they find a breakthrough. Connected and logged into their own realm. When he opened his eyes again, he found himself observing the situation of the realm from an omniscient perspective. He zoomed in and found his core family dependents on the plane, unaware that a swarm of locusts that would lead to the extinction of the family was approaching. Wu opened the panel to take a look. A semi-transparent screen made up of blue light appeared in front of him. What surprised him was that, in the memories of the original owner of the body, there were no "the chosen one" and "sacrifice" in Chinese. Wu clicked on the details. The chosen one can gain an extra power with a unique attribute for each level gained, and sacrifice can exchange a creature's life for randomly generated stuff of equal value. It can be used once a day. Clearly, the chosen one is the time traveler's golden finger, and sacrifice is his stage in divinity. Gain additional power with a unique attribute. With this heaven-defying golden finger, perhaps the grandfather's last wish can be fulfilled. But the precondition is to safely navigate through tomorrow's school bully extortion. Just at this moment, he discovered on the locust panel that the family dependents have the talent for reproduction. Both the quantity and the reproductive cycle are extremely astonishing, equivalent to the conversion of 1 year in the realm's time rule. In the real world, every passing day, the realm will reproduce 4 generations of locusts. This rapid rate of reproduction did startle Wu. He looked a bit crazy. Let's make a bold bet then. If you win, you'll become the master. If you lose, you'll be deemed as useless. The next day, Wu came to the classroom as usual. At this moment, a gorgeous figure walked over. Have you made up your mind, Wu? To be my slave, Shuangqin. I promise no one will dare to bully you until the end of high school. But Wu resolutely refuses. Although I, Wu, am poor and powerless, I also have my own dignity. I understand your willingness to shelter my goodwill. If there is nothing else, please go back. Shuangqin didn't say much either. He thought he would soon regret it. Then he hurriedly left the classroom. Before long, Bin Zhang arrived with several followers in front of Wu. Has the 100 MP that Wu asked you to prepare been brought? Be careful, I will shatter your realm core and make you a useless person for life. After saying that, he pressed his shoulder. But Wu did not let Bin Zhang continue to push him. Bin Zhang was very surprised. How dare you speak to me like this? If you don't hand over the MP, believe me, I will destroy your realm core. But Wu is quite tough. Then you should come and give it a try. This makes Bin Zhang feel suspicious. The usually timid Wu suddenly changed. Could it be that he has some powerful backing? He glanced at Shuangqin and found that the other party was not paying attention at all. The weight in his heart was lifted. Then he took out a card. Since you are looking for death, don't blame me for not giving you a chance. Dealing with trash like you, giving you 10 MP is already being generous. After the hacking card locks the target, it will generate a realm portal within the target realm to achieve intrusion between realms. The hacking card turned into a beam of light shining on Wu, then forcibly brought his consciousness into the realm. Soon, a giant portal stretching 100 meters wide appeared. Appearing in front of him, This is the deserted area of the realm. As the portal slowly opens, a vast and mighty procession of thousands of people emerges from within. That has been Zhang's dwarven army, numbering more than 5,000. At this moment, Bin Zhang's divine incarnation is suspended above the legion. I command you all in the name of dwarf deity. My dwarven army will go destroy the group of fragile locusts. Smash the core of this realm. 5,000 dwarves are inspired by Bin Zhang. They all raised their arms and shouted loudly with great momentum. Their morale instantly reached its peak. At the same time, inside the classroom, classmates are watching the battle through devices. It turns out that Bin Zhang's strength has already reached the top 30 in the grade. Among the 5,000 dwarves, an elite-level creature slowly walked at the front of the team. Wu also raised his hand and waved. Suicide locusts rolled out. Countless locusts emerged swiftly like a tide. They fearlessly rushed forward one after another. The onlookers were amazed by this scene. Those suicide locusts are elite. Aren't Wu's core family dependents ordinary locusts? How come there are so many elites in number? Another person disdainfully said. So what about elites? They are still no match for the combat power of a normal dwarf. Even if there are many trash, it's just a pile of trash. At this moment, on this side of the battlefield, seeing the suicide locusts rushing down, the dwarves also unleashed their beastly instincts and rushed to meet them. In a moment of collision between the two forces, a shocking explosion occurred. The intense vibration caused the entire realm to tremble. The man sacrificed all 2.4 billion locusts, just to exchange for stuff of equal value. 3 options quickly appeared before his eyes. Option 1. 10,000 elite goblin warriors. Option 2. Fountain of life used to improve the surrounding environment. Option 3. There is a certain chance to obtain a grade 1 sacred item that gives birth to core family dependents with bursting force. Wu fell into contemplation. Although goblin warriors can indeed solve the current crisis, they are disposable items. Choosing the Fountain of Life, on the other hand, is a long-term investment and is also unable to deal with the intimidation of tomorrow. As for option 3, it is an investment in core family dependence. It can have a sustainable impact on core family dependence. He can only choose this option for now. After the exchange is successful, we will directly load it into the core. As he squeezes hard, the bursting core on his hand instantly shatters and spreads to all family dependents. Among them, a small group of locusts have undergone a transformation. Their bodies have doubled in size at this moment. Suicide Locust Elite. Wu immediately caught a suicide locust and couldn't wait to test its might of self-explosion. As he threw it with force, the suicide locust burst instantly, its might akin to a hand grenade. Wu knows well the tenacity of the dwarves' vitality, although the current might is still far from enough. But if the quantity is increased, it's hard to say then. The scene returned to this side of the battlefield. As the thick smoke dispersed, half of the 5,000 dwarves were killed on the spot. The surviving elite dwarves also suffered serious injuries, but they still have the strength to fight. There are still 50,000 suicide locusts spiraling in the air. And those ordinary locusts. That number has reached an astonishing over 90 million. The outcome of the battle is already clear. This has made Shuangqin, who was watching the battle, look pleasantly surprised. This guy is quite interesting indeed. The red locusts that quickly cover the sky once again attack. Even the elite dwarves are shivering uncontrollably. Bin Zhang quickly issued an oracle upon seeing this. He called on those surviving dwarves to return to the realm quickly. How could Wu easily let him go? Relying on the instinct that locusts will fly, he directly ordered all family dependents to pass through the portal. Invade Bin Zhang's realm in reverse. Very soon, more than 90 million locusts swarmed like a black storm. The fearless rushed into the teleport gate, destroyed everything that could be seen in the realm of Bin Zhang into ashes. Bin Zhang remains proud. He shouted in a commanding tone, Quickly let your family dependents roll out of my realm. Where the locusts go, not a blade of grass remains. Even that elite dwarf was blown up on the spot. At this moment, Bin Jiang's momentum has also weakened by 3 points. I admit defeat. Withdraw your locusts from my realm. Let my family dependents return. Wu's cold smile on his face deepened. You want to shatter my realm's core, right? In that case, it's only fair for me to shatter yours in return, isn't it? Upon hearing this, Bin Jiang roared in anger. How dare you? My parents will never let you get away with this. My father is a demigod, and my mother is about to ascend to become a demigod. Before Bin Jiang could finish speaking, Wu issued a direct order for destruction. At all costs, smash his core for me. Bin Jiang no longer put on a tough front and started crying on the spot. Please stop. I surrender. I promise I will never bully you again in the future. Whatever conditions you have, feel free to ask, and I will definitely meet them. But Wu's mind was made up. I don't need anything. I just want to turn you into a useless person now. But as soon as the words fell, a stern voice suddenly came. That's enough. Stop, Wu. The man sacrificed 2.4 billion locusts, evolving into suicide locusts containing bursting force, not only blowing up the 5,000-strong dwarven army of school bully, and also invaded his realm in return. Bin Jiang pleaded bitterly. I admit defeat. I promise not to bully you again. Whatever conditions you have, just let me know. I will definitely comply with you. However, Wu had resolved firmly. I don't want anything from you. I just want you dead. But at this moment, a demigod appeared in the sky above the realm. Classmate Wu, stop. You have already won. Why bother going to such lengths to eradicate your opponent? At this moment, Bin Jiang seemed to see a life-saving straw. Teacher Liu, stop this lunatic quickly. My parents must be... But the sentence hasn't been finished. His realm core could no longer withstand the impact of the locusts and had cracked. Bin Jiang immediately collapsed on the ground. No, Teacher Liu, please save me quickly. I don't want to become disabled. Letian Lu noticed that Wu showed no intention of stopping, and his tone became even angrier. Didn't you hear me speaking? Wu smiled ambiguously and asked Letian Lu a question. Teacher Lu, why are you here? Letian Lu, however, remained silent. As the class teacher, I can naturally sense everything happening in the class. Wu continued. Then let me ask you this. Where were you when I was being attacked and extorted by Bin Jiang? Why didn't you show up? Faced with the questioning, Letian Lu's face darkened. Please stop for now. I will explain everything to you. But in her heart, she complained. Do you have demigod parents? Why do I have to offend the Zhang family just to help you? Wu had expected it early on. I will ask one last question. If today, the one being attacked by Realm Core is me, would you step forward to stop it? This questioning. Letian Lu was stunned directly. Seeing him fall into silence, Wu said disappointedly, Okay, I already know the answer. His words fell, and a large number of locusts exploded in an instant, shattering Bin Jiang's realm core into pieces. Collapsed one by one amid his shouts. Wu took away these fragments, and said to Letian Lu, Teacher Lu, please leave my realm. At the same time, the monitoring equipment in the classroom was suddenly forced to shut down. The crowd sighed in disappointment. One by one, they turned their heads to look at Bin Jiang, whose realm was now shattered. I have lost everything. I have become a disabled person. Letian Lu quickly arrived at the classroom. He shouted loudly, Wu, get out of here! I searched everywhere, but couldn't find Wu Wu. The students were trembling. He might have gone home. Letian Lu's anger has nowhere to vent. This student should be expelled. Expelled? On the other side, Wu returned home and immediately logged into his realm. He opened the interface to check the outcome of the battle. The suicide locusts have over 18,000 remaining, while the ordinary locusts are down to just over 4 million. However, This time they obtained a fragment of Bin Jiang's realm, which can be integrated into their own realm. Afterwards, he raised his hand, and the realm fragment immediately shattered, turning into streaks of flowing light merging into his own realm. Soon, Wu gained Realm Core Level 2 and Level 1 Holy Relic Dwarven Hammer, along with 820 dwarves. The area also expanded to 260 square kilometers. These gains were quite substantial for Wu, enough to support him until graduation. We knew that Bin Jiang would not stop there, and his parents would surely come to seek justice. The school would not protect him either, so he must develop quickly. Thinking about this, he decisively posted the Dwarven Hammer on the trading network, hoping to exchange it for the resources he needed. Soon, a buyer contacted him proactively. However, Wu persisted in his principle of only exchanging, not selling. The other party could only trade with a magma fire gem. It is a gem that can enhance the endurance of the element of fire of family dependence, increase the explosive might of flame gem. With it, my suicide locust can undergo a second evolution. The man bought a magma fire gem and evolved 1,000th of the locusts in the realm into lava locusts. To test their might, Wu casually grabbed one, and then threw it out directly. The lava locust exploded in midair instantly. Its power is equivalent to a hand grenade. Moreover, the splashing lava produced after the explosion caused extensive damage. On the other side, Bin Jiang's parents have already arrived at the school's Educational Affairs office to demand an explanation. The Director of Education attempted to explain that, to our knowledge, the cyber attack was caused by your son Bin Jiang. He also has a history of intimidating classmates and causing disruptions. The man immediately became furious. Are you suggesting that everything is solely my son's fault? Isn't the school responsible for anything at all? Bin Jiang's mother also demanded justice. That student who shattered my son's realm core. He must be punished. The school must expel him. At this moment, Wu is in the realm. Multiple uses of the growth acceleration power have caused the number of lava locusts to skyrocket in a short period of time. Just as he was about to unleash a sacrifice, a video request suddenly popped up. On account of the other party being a school leader, Wu decided to watch the video. In the end, he chose to answer the call. Mei Su truthfully confessed. Student Wu, I am Director Su Bin Jiang's classmate. My parents have come to the school. They demand that you be punished. Then she reenacted the whole process. Bin Jiang's mother wants the school to expel Wu Mei Su, but the school disagrees. She believes that everything was caused by Bin Jiang's invasion. And Wu did not cheat during the confrontation. So there is no reason for dismissal. The woman immediately became angry and embarrassed. Fine. You actually cover up the bad students who are destroying classmates' realm core. Is this the educational purpose of your school? Similarly, out of courtesy to the demigod Mei Su, I am still very polite to the two parents. Mrs. Du, please do not confuse the facts. We do have a lot of evidence to prove that your son has intimidated Wu multiple times. The woman was furious, with her veins bulging. Don't talk nonsense with me. I'm asking you if you are going to expel him. Mei Su said with a straight face. I'm sorry. Can't do it. The man was provoked and made tough remarks. Director Su, I could accept the school not punishing Wu severely, but as the victim, I must vent my anger. If you don't even agree to this small request, then I don't need to care about the school's reputation anymore. Back to reality, Mei Su told Wu Bin that Jiang's father would lead a team of 1,000 people to invade your realm. Regardless of the outcome, they will no longer care. This is also the greatest extent of protection the school can provide. However, a demigod's team of 1,000 people is equivalent to a 50,000 strong army of ordinary students. Wu, can you handle it? Wu nodded. Thank you, Director Su. I will go to school tomorrow to face this challenge. After the call was disconnected, Wu knew time was running out. He had to initiate the second sacrifice as soon as possible. Then he raised his hand and made a gesture. A massive formation for the sacrifice appeared above his head. instantly sucked in all 4.8 billion locusts. 3 options appeared in front of him very quickly. And no matter which option it was, the quality of the stuff obtained from the first sacrifice would be higher. After a brief thought, Wu finally chose the third option. Iron-cutting sword wind. An old man with white hair appeared in front of him quickly. His emaciated body had 2 pairs of arms. Iron-cutting sword wind, hero of the Swordwind clan. The man activates sacrifice. Sacrifice all 4.8 billion locusts in the realm, only to summon a 100-year-old man from the Swordwind clan. The frail body unexpectedly has 2 pairs of arms. It gazes at the Wu who summoned itself and requests, "Deity, I need a sword." The Swordwind clan, born for battle, cannot be without swords. Wu nodded immediately. No problem. High-end weapons must be equipped. Then he opened the trading network, thinking that he had cultivated a large number of locusts in recent days. After earning a total of 1 billion faith energy, it would condense into a point of MP. In addition to the remaining MP from selling land, there are currently a total of 54 points of MP Wu placed in order immediately. He could only buy a faith-level Tempest sword, and the items are divided into 4 levels in total. Normal equipment without energy infusion. Faith items often come with special effects. MP items contain a large amount of MP and crystallization for blending. They often have souls that can self-grow. Divinity items are items that only deities are qualified to control. They symbolize power and authority. Iron-cutting sword wind swung twice. Suddenly, a burst of slash wind surged ahead. Just the accompanying sword wind alone is already so mighty. Afterwards, the iron-cutting sword wind once again asked Wu for assistance. "O deity, I still need 3 more of such weapons to fully unleash my strongest power." Upon hearing this, Wu was immediately stunned. Wu thought to himself, "Did a strong wind blow in to deplete my MP points? Still need 3 more Tempest swords." It's easy to say when you're not the one doing the work. But it's about tomorrow. Facing off against Gang Zhang's demigod legion of 1,000 troops. The matter of buying weapons must not be taken lightly. So he mustered up the courage to get in touch with Shuang Qin. At the same time, Shuang Qin is meditating within the realm space, surrounded by countless storm finches dancing around her. And these storm finches are her core family dependents. Born naturally talented in the elite thunder element and excelling as an aerial combat unit. With various auras surrounding her, Shuang Qin's strength ranks in the top 5 of her grade level. However, she did not pay attention to these storm finches. Instead, she remembered a scene from her childhood. When she was in elementary school, she accidentally fell into a lake. Just as she was on the verge of drowning, Wu appeared. Despite his small and young body, he struggled to pull Shuang Qin onto the shore. He even performed artificial respiration for her. He saved Shuang Qin from the brink of death. Since then, Shuang Qin has always paid close attention to him. However, that fool Wu has always been unwilling to accept her help. That Wu with his dense head of elm might as well be squeezed to death. My grandfather is from the genuine deity family, with 23 demigod relatives. Can't they protect you? However, just as he finished cursing, Shuang Qin was startled by a video request. The note on it was from Wu. After connecting, Shuang Qin habitually spoke in the tone of a young lady and said, "Have you finally changed your mind? Are you agreeing to be my slave? Men will spend all their MP just to help iron-cutting sword wind buy a Tempest sword. But iron-cutting sword wind actually needs 3 more of the same weapon. Otherwise, it will be difficult to unleash all of his power." Wu had no choice but to find his classmate Shuang Qin to borrow some MP from her. Shuang Qin, however, asked back, "What will you use to repay me when you borrow MP from me? Are you going to use your rubbish family dependents? Don't think that defeating Bin Zhang in the invasion battle makes you exceptional. Your suicide locusts barely made it into the elite ranks and have little value at all." Upon hearing that, Wu immediately ended the call. "Forget it. Sorry for the disturbance." This move caught Shuang Qin off guard. She began to blame herself. What am I doing? Why did those sarcastic words just slip out? That's not what I meant. Will he misunderstand? He definitely will. After some inner struggle, Shuangqin decided to take the initiative to call Wu. After the call connected, Wu had a hesitant expression. Hello. What's up? Shuangqin blushed and snorted. How much do you need? Give me your account number. A few minutes later, obtaining 4 Tempest swords, the iron-cutting swordwind raised Wu's faith level from being a pan-believer to a true believer at level 1. The next day, Wu teleported to the classroom. His arrival instantly attracted the attention of all his classmates. This guy still dares to come. Aren't you afraid that the realm core will be overrun by the 1,000-man legion of demigods? I'd like to see that. I wonder if he can still remain so calm when it gets breached. I hear the murmurs around me. Wu is clear in his heart. It seems like everyone is actually hoping for my failure. Everyone is just waiting to see me make a fool of myself. At this moment, Shuangqin walked over. Did you borrow my MP to compete with demigod to improve yourself? I advise you not to waste your energy. Even if demigod only deploys a team of 1,000, it's not something you can currently contend with. Facing Shuangqin's concern, Wu just shook his head gently. I have no other choice. Shuangqin suddenly approached. You do? Just become my slave. I will contact my family to pressure Gangzhong. His family only has 1 demigod, while my family has a genuine deity and 23 demigods. He dare not refuse. But Wu still refused. I appreciate your kindness. You can go back first. I need to prepare to deal with a legion of 1,000 soldiers led by the demigod. At this moment, in a corner, a jealous gaze fell on Wu. Why do you deserve to be treated differently by Shuangqin? You are a waste. You are trash. Today you must die. Before long, Letian Lu, the class teacher, opened the door for Bin Zhang's parents. He bowed and fawned over them diligently. Please come in. Then he pointed out Gang Zhang and his wife. That kid is Wu Wu. Indeed, no one expected the class teacher to fawn over them like a lapdog. The woman wanted to attack Wu as soon as she saw him. You little bastard. You ruined my son's realm core. I'll kill you. Gang Zhang stopped her. Don't break the school rules. The man destroyed school bully's realm core. Unexpectedly, this brought upon the revenge of the opponent's demigod father, leading a force of 1,000 wolf riders, swearing to conquer his realm core. Just now, the homeroom teacher Letian Lu, in order to please the couple Gang Zhang, urged like a lackey. Wu, you little brat, come over and face your death immediately. Don't waste Mr. Gang Zhang's time. Wu knows he wants to curry favor with Gang Zhang, seeking some benefit from it. Then smiled. I want to wait for Director Mei Su to act as a witness. Letian Lu immediately exploded thunder. Is this trivial matter of yours worth having Director Su as a witness? It's already giving you face for me to witness it. Start now, or don't blame me for being impolite to you. As soon as the words fell, Mei Su had already walked into the classroom. Teacher Lu, who did you mean to be impolite to? Letian Lu's momentum immediately weakened by 70%. Director Su. It's a small matter. It's not worth troubling you to get involved. I just want to discipline one of my students. Mei Su gave a cold snort. Teacher Lu, don't forget. You are a teacher in the school, not a dog of some demigod. Understand? Gang Zhang didn't want to waste time. He interrupted their conversation. Since Director Su is here, let's get started. Mei Su's gaze fell on Wu. Wu, are you ready? Wu nodded. I'm ready. After getting Mei Su's permission, Gang Zhang couldn't wait to activate a hacking card. Pulled his legion of 1,000 people into Wu's realm. At the same time, Wu was once again forcibly pulled into his own realm. Soon a teleport gate over 10 meters high appeared in front of him. A massive army of 1,000 soldiers marched out from the gate. The leading captain of the Wolf Rider team has awakened the otherworldly power and otherworldly life. and the rest of the wolf riders behind are all elite. Upon seeing this scene, the onlookers outside all marveled and exclaimed that Wu is doomed. The combination of the green orc with the mount wolf by the wolf rider, and even wearing a full set of high-quality items, not long before, led to a legion of 1,000 wolf riders. A total of 2,000 units all stepped into Wu's realm. Gang Zhang's demigod incarnation also emerges at this moment. You little mixed breed. Yesterday you shattered my son's realm core. Today I want you to pay with blood. At this moment, Mei Su looked surprised. Wolf Rider can clearly be split apart to count as 2 combat strengths. It is said to dispatch a legion of 1,000 soldiers. This is obvious. Shuangqin beside also continued speaking. This is clearly a combat power of 2,000 units. The majestic demigod actually resorted to deceit. On this side of the battlefield, Gang Zhang ordered the Oracle Wolf Rider to charge. Soon, each bloodthirsty giant wolf rushed madly towards Wu's realm. At the same time, 680 million locusts flew out behind Wu, covered the pass like a red cloud blocking the sky, collided with the army of thousands of wolf riders. Thousands of wolf riders charged forward, colliding with nearly 7 million suicide locusts, but at the cost of sacrificing more than 1 million locusts, only resulting in minor injuries to a few wolf riders. However, this scene did cause quite a stir. Classmates are all feeling sorry for Wu. If given enough time to grow, perhaps the outcome would be different. Even the one who has been mocking Wu, Letian Lu, couldn't help but praise. Indeed, he is a talent. Just encountered a hurdle that cannot be crossed. Otherwise, he will definitely be able to make a name for himself at school. Before his words fell, a student suddenly exclaimed loudly, "Look! What is that?" At this moment in the realm, the clouds in the sky suddenly made a buzzing sound. Those wolf riders leading the charge seemed to have sensed the threat. They all stopped in their tracks. At the next moment, large swarms of lava locusts fell from the clouds like scorching meteors, leaving the wolf riders with nowhere to hide. Those lava locusts not only explode with tremendous force, but also emit large amounts of magma causing splash damage. Even well-equipped wolf riders suffer heavy casualties. The situation instantly reversed, leaving the onlooking teachers and students in awe. What kind of species are those locusts that explode with even greater force and cause magma splashes? Are they from the otherworldly life? Director Mei Su immediately turned around and asked, "Are there any students or teachers who have the power of examine? Please publish information about that type of locust." Later, a student used their unique power, and I identified it. That type of locust is called lava locust and is an elite. The head teacher, Mei Su, never imagined it. Wu, who has always been seen as a burden of the family, hiding such a secret weapon unexpectedly. At this moment, Gang Zhang's demigod incarnation is hovering in the air. Do you think you can wipe out all of my wolf riders like this? Dream on. Utilize the otherworldly power you possess. Upon receiving the wolf rider captain from the realm, he immediately looked up to the sky and laughed heartily. Released his otherworldly power, freezing aura. Spread the cold aura to the surroundings along with the Mount Wolf under his arm. The temperature drops rapidly within a radius of about 200 meters. In an instant, all the lava locusts were isolated outside. Even the splash of lava is difficult to penetrate through. The accumulated lava on the ground quickly cooled. In the blink of an eye, it turned into black charred rocks. The voice of public opinion is once again unanimous. A demigod would not be defeated by such petty tricks. Wu's locust swarm is now less than 500,000. He won't be able to turn the tide now. The surviving wolf rider quickly launched another charge. Although the number is now less than 200, Gang Zhang remains confident. You little bastard. I will show you what despair means. When your core breaks, your realm shatters, and the school will expel you. By that time, your fate will be at my mercy. Go shatter his core. Director Mei Su seemed to have foreseen Wu's miserable defeat. She closed her eyes, unable to bear it in her heart. Everything has come to an end. But just at this moment, Shuangqin suddenly saw a figure. What was standing in front of Wu's realm core? At this moment, in front of the core, there stands a slender figure. This figure has a flowing mane of hair and 4 arms. What is most shocking, however, is that each of the 4 arms is holding a tempest sword, which costs 50 MP each. For swords total 200 MP. Isn't Wu a fox? How can he be so wealthy? And what race is this figure? Mei Su spoke after a moment of thought to give out the answer. That is the Swordwind clan. Naturally, the Swordwind clan is an otherworldly life. A student on the side voiced their opinion. So what if one is a naturally otherworldly life? Doesn't Gang Zhang, the demigod, also have an otherworldly life Wolf Rider captain? Let the Wolf Rider captain temporarily engage the Swordwind clan, while the remaining Wolf Riders go and shatter Wu's realm core. Mei Su couldn't help but frown. Look at the momentum. The Swordwind clan is not an otherworldly life. Instead, it is a bona fide hero. At this moment, Gang Zhang's face looks very bad. I have struggled for decades. But I have only cultivated a hero who is just a senior high school student. How can he, with no virtue or ability, have such outstanding family dependence? Grab him. You must grab this hero. As long as you can shatter the realm core of the Swordwind clan's hero, he will belong to me. Facing a charge from nearly 200 Wolf Riders. A sharp glint flashed in the eyes of iron-cutting Swordwind. How terrifying is iron-cutting Swordwind as a hero? One self-created skill, Iron Cut, directly annihilated hundreds of elite enemies. Just a few minutes ago, the remaining 200 Wolf Riders led a charge. Swearing to conquer Wu's realm, he vowed to snatch his iron-cutting Swordwind, only to see the iron-cutting Swordwind waving 4 Tempest swords at once. The move Tempest directly kills both the person and the wolf together, like a meat grinder on the battlefield. The range covered by sword force can reach up to 100 meters, stirring the surrounding air into slash winds. Split all the Wolf Riders into halves. The situation looked grim. The Wolf Rider captain looked up and let out a furious roar. The skill Frozen Aura activated once again. The power of freezing within a radius of 200 meters, enveloping the iron-cutting Swordwind. His legs were frozen in an instant, temporarily losing his ability to move. The captain of the Wolf Rider team also seized the opportunity. The surviving Wolf Riders were driven to unite and charge forward in a grand and imposing manner. But the iron-cutting Swordwind remained unmoved. At the same time, he lifted up 4 Tempest swords and interwove them together. Self-created skill. Iron Cut initiated. His words fell. Suddenly, a strong wind arose above his head. Strands of energy rose from the sword and aggregated into a magnificent energy mass in the sky. Soon, the entire sky dimmed in comparison. The sound of the wind was as eerie as a ghost wailing and a wolf howling. A vortex spun around the Tempest sword, shattering the terrain within a radius of 10 miles and leaving behind a large crater. All the elite Wolf Riders turned into ashes. This scene deeply shocked all the students and teachers watching. Oh my god, hero is too powerful. At this moment, serving as the captain of the Wolf Rider team from otherworldly life, also lost vital signs, lying peacefully limp on the ground. How could Gang Zhang, a demigod, swallow this humiliation? Come out, Wolf Rider commander. Conquer this realm for me. Quickly inside that teleport gate. A hero like iron cutting. The Wolf Rider general slowly walked out. But just then, a voice interrupted Gang Zhang's thoughts. Do you want to break your own agreement, demigod? Gang Zhang quickly looked up and saw that it was the genuine deity principal. His momentum immediately weakened by 7 points. It's the principal. No, I dare not. Wolf Rider, retreat for me. With that, he ordered the oracle to the Wolf Rider general below. At this moment, the principal's gaze fell on Wu. Then, he took another look at Hero's iron-cutting sword wind. He muttered to himself, "Not bad." After saying that, his figure disappeared into thin air. After the competition ended, the demigod couple Gang Zhang quickly teleported out of the classroom. The expressions in the eyes of those teachers and students watching Wu also underwent earth-shattering changes. Mei Su gave a piece of advice to Wu. "Student Wu, heroes are not invincible. With your current abilities, it's even difficult for you to squeeze into the top 3 of the grade." Wu nodded. "Director Su, I have one more request. I want to change classes." When this was said, Letian Liu, the homeroom teacher, was momentarily at a loss. "The current Wu Bao is completely different from the past," he tried to explain. "Student Wu, the teacher admits that there has not been much attention given to you before. The teacher promises to teach you well in the future. Daily teaching resources will also be tilted towards you as much as possible. Please give the teacher a chance to correct the mistakes." Wu, however, was exceptionally firm. "I requested a class change." Letian Liu had originally wanted to bask in the limelight a bit. After all, as long as his strength continues to develop steadily, he can definitely enter a top-tier university. At this moment, Mei Su said hesitantly, "Student Wu, changing classes is not something you can do just because you want to. The school has its own regulations. If you really want to change classes, you have to pass the test arranged by the school. As long as you can pass the test, I can help you with a class transfer." The man made a sacrifice. Sacrifice all 1 billion locusts in the realm. After the ritual ends, 3 items of equal value appear before you: the Alpha Battle Armor, a large furnace, and 3 watchtowers. Just now, Wu volunteered to take the test set up by the school in order to switch shifts. Seeing her favorite man switching shifts, Shuangqin also promptly offered to switch shifts. "Director Su, I also want to apply for the test." Letian Liu, the class teacher, had a wry smile on his face. "Classmate Shuangqin, if you have any dissatisfaction with the teacher, you can speak out. The teacher will definitely make changes. There's no need to go as far as changing classes." But Shuangqin, who comes from a strong family background, said, "There is no dissatisfaction. It's just that she doesn't want to stay any longer." As soon as she finished speaking, Xiaolong Zhang, who had a secret crush on her, also requested a shift change. "Director Su, I also applied to participate in the test." Hearing this, Letian Liu couldn't help but worry. "Xiaolong Zhang, you are the class monitor. Why are you joining in the fun too?" Xiaolong Zhang smiled and said, "Teacher Liu, thank you for your care and guidance these days. But I can't stay in this class anymore." Then he looked at his goddess, Shuangqin, and silently vowed in his heart, "I cannot let anyone else have you." Mei Su did not linger any longer. He left only one sentence for everyone. "Tomorrow, I will prepare a test for you. Teacher Liu, come with me." After school, Shuangqin found Wu and told me, "What's the deal with your hero?" Wu responded casually, "This has nothing to do with you, right?" Shuangqin was a little angry. "Of course it's relevant. You owe me 150 MP. If you can't repay it, you'll have to become my slave to make up for it." But Wu said, "If you want to collect the debt, I can first repay you 5 MP points as interest. But if you want to inquire about hero information, I have nothing to say." After saying this, Wu didn't wait for Shuangqin's response and directly teleported away from the school, leaving Shuangqin cursing silently in place. Soon after returning home, Wu used the deity docking module to enter their realm. Although the locust's breeding power was astonishing, after experiencing a fierce battle, the suicide locust could only recover up to 1 million, while the lava locust remained at a mere 30,000. At that moment, iron-cutting sword wind suddenly descended from the sky. "Great deity, the escaped wolf rider is hiding in the mine. Should we go eliminate them?" Wu pondered for a moment in his heart. This wolf rider unexpectedly did not perish. Dozens of them escaped. Keeping Gang Zhang's family dependents is a nuisance in the end. It must be eradicated as soon as possible. But killing them directly seems a bit of a waste. Soon, Wu issued an order. Oracle, go capture those wolf riders. Make sure they stay alive. They'll be useful to me. Iron-cutting sword wind disappeared instantly from the spot. After 2 hours, dozens of wolf riders were all tied up and knelt before Wu. Then he sacrificed all 1 billion ordinary locusts in the realm, along with 24 wolf riders. 3 options suddenly appeared in front of him: Alpha War Armor, Level 1 Foundry Blueprint, and 3 Watchtowers. Wu quite likes this mecha. But locusts lack intelligence to pilot it, not to mention operating a foundry. Are we supposed to rely on locusts for forging? In the end, there's only the watchtowers. He could see his small home on the edge at first sight. It's completely unnecessary. But then Wu had another thought. In his own realm, it seems that he still has received a few hundred dwarves from Binzhong. I wonder how they are doing now. He then activated the power of the eagle eye. Sent his thoughts over. The results made him see that the originally only 800 dwarfs had actually multiplied to 900. They worked diligently, using the mine minerals to create various weapons for storage. At this moment, an elderly dwarf discovered Wu's conscious projection. Deity, thank you for granting us a good life. Wu not only sighed. After capturing the dwarfs, I had only issued one command. That is to let the dwarfs mine. It seems that the dwarfs' talent and passion lie in mining and crafting items. Forcing them to fight actually suppresses their nature. They have a talent for item crafting. We can have them focus on logistical resources. The furnace can be put to good use. Upon thinking about this, Wu immediately set up a large furnace in the dwarves' territory. The dwarves cheered. The deity bestowed a divine gift. On the other side, Letian Lu was in a meeting with other grade-level homeroom teachers. Everyone, regarding the job rotation test for Wu and the other two, the school has entrusted us with the leadership of this test. Do you have any thoughts on this? A homeroom teacher sneered. What else could there be to think about? Thank Teacher Lu for the generous gift. 3 top students collectively changed classes. You are giving benefits to the brothers. Letian Lu automatically ignored him. I don't care about the tests of Shuangqin and Xiaolongzhang. But Wu's. I must request that the test level be raised to the highest level. Such disrespectful students should be punished severely. Other class advisors immediately reconsidered upon hearing this. Wu, an orphan with no significant family background. It's better to take this opportunity to sell a favor to Letian Lu. The next day, Letian Lu took out 3 cards. He said to Wu and the other 2 people, "This is your test requirement." The assessment levels for Xiaolongzhang and Shuangqin are both level 1. Just need to withstand the invasion of 1,000 foreign races. While on Wu's side, it is a level 10 assessment test. Need to fend off 10,000 foreign races. Wu was suddenly stunned when seeing this scene. The difficulty of the assessment for oneself is actually 10 times that of the other 2. How terrifying is it when 10,000 red goblins invade the realm? Even a hero with 4 Tempest swords in hand. He was still severely injured. Just now, Wu drew a 10-fold difficulty test. Need to resist the invasion of 10,000 external tribes to achieve victory. Director Mei Su feels a bit reluctant. Regarding Wu's test, Teacher Lu should reconsider. However, Letian Lu said, this is a decision made by all grade homeroom teachers. Wu laughed and said, "It's okay. Director Su and Teacher Lu also hope that I can demonstrate my power in the new homeroom." Letian Lu felt furious when he saw Wu's disdainful attitude. "Kid, don't be too pleased with yourself," he muttered through gritted teeth. At this moment, Shuangqin stepped forward to persuade. "My offer still stands. As long as you become my slave, I guarantee that no one in the entire school, apart from me, will dare to bully you." Wu noticed her strong insistence on the matter of being a slave, so he gave a faint smile and replied, "I appreciate your kindness. Let's discuss this after the test." Shuang-Qin was rejected again. Frustrated, muttering under her breath, "Ungrateful fool." This is just what Xiaolongjang wanted. He felt ecstatic. Wu, you can look forward to embarrassing yourself. The test will begin shortly. 10,000 elite red goblins entered Wu's realm through the teleport gate. To Wu, these 10,000 red goblins are more troublesome than the demigod Gang Zhang's wolf riders. The classmates watching from outside started discussing. They heard that Wu's test is the most difficult. Who asked him to provoke Teacher Lu? Let's wait and see. At this moment, Wu cursed Teacher Lu in his heart. Letian Lu, please act like a human. There are still so many goblins with flame resistance. Letian Lu chuckled on the side. Oh Wu. Blame it on you for rejecting my kindness. An army of 10,000 red goblins is enough to overrun your realm. The good news from other head teachers, who are friendly with him, was sent in advance. Congratulations, Teacher Lu, on getting your revenge. Letian Lu feigned a long sigh. How could there be enmity between teachers and students? After this test, Student Wu will surely understand the painstaking efforts we teachers put in. Director Mei Su couldn't be bothered to listen to Letian Lu's hypocritical words. She silently cheered on Wu from the side. Keep it up, Student Wu. On the other side, a full-scale battle between the two sides is about to erupt. Under Wu's command, a total of 2.6 billion locusts are swarming towards the Red Goblin army. But the Red Goblin is not to be outdone. They are also gathering fireballs in their hands. They are hitting the locusts one by one before they swarm in. In an instant, they turn tens of thousands of locusts into ash and smoke. The incarnation of Wu's divinity witnessed all of this. Ordinary locusts cannot cause any harm to the Red Goblin. So he waved his hand again. Issued an oracle command to 5 million suicide locusts. Under the cover of ordinary locusts, they launched a terrifying suicide attack against the Red Goblin army. However, they only managed to kill 400 enemies. At the same time, Shuang-Qin and Xiaolongjang walked out of the landing pod. Obviously, they have completed the level 1 difficulty test. Director Mei Su thought to herself. Locusts are ultimately just low-level creatures. Even if they are well-trained, they cannot be on the table. It seems that the situation is not very good. There is no way. Wu can only use his secret weapon. After painstakingly accumulating 400,000 lava locusts, they have joined the battle. They are braving the rain of fireballs and self-exploding in the midst of the Red Goblin army. A large amount of lava turned the entire area into a lava hell. Instantly took away 3,000 red goblins. But based on flame resistance, more than 6,000 red goblins are still remaining. They still charge mightily towards Wu's realm core. The onlookers, both teachers and students, all made various assertions. Wu is really finished this time. Although there is still a hero holding a bottom card. But can he really kill over 6,000 red goblins? Shuang-Qin says one thing and means another. Let him reject me. It's better to crush his realm core with the Red Goblin army. Director Mei Su immediately relayed the message to Wu upon seeing the situation. If you can't hold on, just admit defeat. Failure is not shameful. I believe that as long as you are given time, you will rise again quickly. However, Wu has already made up his mind. Director Su. Since I have decided to change shifts, I will persevere until the end. Even if it means fighting to the last soldier. It's worth it. Besides, I haven't lost yet. At this moment, the soft iron sword and the wind are simultaneously wielded in hand. For Tempest Swords. A large area is roiling with a raging blade. Any red goblin near the realm core have all suffered a fatal blow. Large numbers of red goblins are falling one after another. However, those red goblins standing behind are engaging in bloody battles, while iron-cutting sword wind is fighting. They are launching a rain of fireballs for long-range bombardment. The land around the realm core is dyed red with blood. Although the hero is very strong, it is still difficult to withstand the attack of thousands of rain of fireballs. In the end, When iron-cutting swordwind slew more than 5,000 red goblins, he found himself in a critical condition. Letian Lu was overjoyed to see this situation. Wu the student. This is the final lesson that your teacher taught you. Study hard, okay? But before he could be happy for a few seconds, the other class teachers on the side exclaimed loudly, "Look! What is that?" At this moment, in front of Wu's realm core, I did not know when more than 900 dwarven army appeared. More than 1,000 red goblins simultaneously aggregated fireballs in their hands, preparing to deliver the final blow to the tenacious hero iron-cutting swordwind. However, at this moment, a 900-strong fully armed dwarven army stood in the forefront. "We swear to defend to the death." Hearing the awe-inspiring momentum of the dwarves, their low roar is as intimidating as a battle song, shaking the hearts of over 1,000 red goblins, who are trembling uncontrollably. When they realized what was happening, 900 dwarves had already swung their weapons. Kill the exhausted red goblin. The classmates watching from outside were all shocked. Isn't that been Zhang's core family dependence from before? Talented individuals. Such power will surely make it into the top 10 of the grade. As the fighting in the realm subsided, only a few dozen dwarves emerged victorious in the end. Wu is extremely excited, although the locusts were almost completely wiped out. But the only consolation is, hero iron-cutting swordwind has not fallen in battle. This result shocked director Mei Su and Shuang Qin quite a bit. It could even be said to be somewhat unbelievable. On the side, Letian Lu became even more angry. He specifically deceived 10,000 red goblins with flame resistance. I did not expect that Wu still had a trick up his sleeve. In no time, the small classroom was filled with the head teachers of various classes. They all extended olive branches to the three people. They were willing to offer any conditions without hesitation. But Wu did not respond. Shuang Qin beside him waited for him to speak. Xiaolongjong looked at Shuang Qin and also waited for Shuang Qin to speak. After some contemplation, Wu said lightly, "Director Su, can I ask, why is the difficulty of my test so high?" Director Mei Su truthfully replied that the difficulty of individual tests is determined collectively by all grade homeroom teachers. Wu understands her meaning. He sneered. "Then I would like to see their voting results. Is this okay?" Director Mei Su also holds a huge disdain towards the underhanded actions of Letian Lu. She simply passed the notebook over. At the same time, among the 12 head teachers present, 9 of them were silently cursing Letian Lu, thinking that they should not have helped Letian Lu. Wu found that 2 more head teachers had voted against it. He politely inquired, "If I join your class, what can you offer me?" The head teacher of Mediterranean hairdo said, "Wu, I see the power in your family's dwarf cultivation. If you join my class, I will provide you with a team of no less than 10,000 dwarves." On the other hand, another head teacher said, "The cultivation of core family dependence is the most important. I have some resources on hand that are very useful for the family dependence of the insected species. If you were to join my class, I will help you complete the life evolution of the entire family of locusts." Without hesitation, he immediately chose the second homeroom teacher. As soon as he finished speaking, Shuang Qin also wanted to join. Xiaolongjong naturally followed behind Shuang Qin. When Tian looked surprised and delighted on his face. Suddenly 3 more excellent students were added. Looks like this year is the rhythm for winning the Excellent Teacher Award. Then he took out 3 exchange cards. "Come to my classroom. This is the teacher's gift for you." We received a level 2 building card, Mother Nest, capable of hatching 1 million insect creatures annually. Effect: it can perfectly display the effect of the holy relic embedded in Mother Nest. Wu immediately had a plan. He decided to build Mother Nest on the realm. You can also include Bursting Core and Magma Fire Gem. Embed both Grade 1 sacred items onto the Mother Nest. The Mother Nest will enhance the abilities of both. The perfect effect is applied to the insect eggs nurtured inside the Mother Nest. This way, 1 million lava locusts can be obtained every year. He thought of this and excitedly bowed to Wention. Wention smiled and said, "No need for grateful words. Showing better results would be the best way to repay me." Director Meisu suddenly announced, "Everyone, today's test is just a small trial. But in 7 days, the school's centralized exam is crucial. It relates to the future allocation of resources for each class. I don't need to emphasize the importance of it, right?" After returning home, we used the landing pod to enter the realm where locusts were swarming at a fast pace. Almost completely wiped out, they quickly recovered some numbers in a short period of time. However, the current strength is far from being able to participate in the centralized exam, so they must continue to recruit soldiers. Otherwise, they will become the bottom of the entire grade in 7 days. At this time, we discovered something unexpected. The name of the dwarf had changed. Surprisingly, the prefix, red, was added. Wu was very puzzled and immediately focused his consciousness on the mining area to witness it with his own eyes. But when he saw the dwarf, he was startled. The current red dwarf now had a body with red skin and blood vessels resembling magma. Unexpectedly evolved into a naturally born elite. It would be great if these are my core family dependents. You can only use more growth acceleration. First, restore family dependents to their previous size. 4 days have passed like this. The locusts have also multiplied to 7.3 billion. Wu clasped his hands together. Bless me. Hope to produce good results this time. After speaking, he used a sacrifice to turn the over 7 billion ordinary locusts into countless life energies surging into the sky within the sacrificial ritual circle. The man awakens the weakest locust family members in the world. But he evolved them into bursting locusts even bigger than humans. Just a few days ago, Wu sacrificed all 7.2 billion locusts in the realm. 3 options appeared before my eyes. Option 1. Obtain the level 2 Holy Relic Gluttony Code Core and gain the power of gluttony for family dependence. Consume food with total energy exceeding 1,000 times of own energy to complete self-evolution. Option 2. Assist an otherworldly life in ascending to hero status with the model of hero. Option 3. A touch of divinity. These 3 options far exceeded Wu's expectations. Any of the options would be helpful for it. But now the most suitable one must be chosen. The Gluttony Code can turn an ordinary locust. All turn into elites. But it costs a huge amount to maintain. In short, model of hero is like having one more hero, but with just a touch of divinity, equivalent to 100 trillion faith energy, which is 100 million MP. It's like winning the lottery. In the end, Wu decided to choose the Gluttony Code, even if he couldn't afford billions of elite locusts. He could only use it on the mother nest for now. Each year, he would cultivate millions of gluttony locusts. 3 days later, Wu logged back into his realm and was shocked. "Oh my god! Are you a giant insect or a giant lizard? I declare, you are the Lava Locust Plus. Bursting Locust." The next day, Wu was stopped by Shuang Qin as soon as he teleported to school. "Have you considered being my slave? You have no background or resources. With your current strength, it's impossible to stand out among the many demigod children. Your locust cultivation is indeed good, but ultimately too weak. While impressive in taming dwarfs, that is not your core family dependence. I don't want to hear any more. I appreciate your good intentions. Can I do it? We'll know after the exam." Shuang Qin wants to help but can't bring himself to do it. He can only stand by feeling anxious. Xiaolongzhang sees everything. "Wu. One day it will happen. I will make you completely leave Shuang Qin's sight. In her eyes, there can only be me." At this time, the form teacher Wention announced, "This centralized exam determines the allocation of resources for the future of the class. It is very important. I also ask students to give their best performance. Students with outstanding academic performance. Holy Relic Realm of Land. Core Fragments. Family Dependence Legion and other reward resources are right in my hands. As long as you have the ability, just take it. Later, when Tian was still in front of the students, he read out the examination rules for the centralized exam. Wu glanced at the centralized exam rules. Just a second ago, he was complaining that the assessment rules were too strict. Surprisingly, those who fail will actually be expelled from school. When he saw the rewards, he almost excitedly shouted out, "This is much richer than the stuff he got with sacrifice 3 days ago." When Tian quietly said a sentence, "The centralized exam is starting." The first round of elimination assessment of this centralized exam is about to begin. Candidates, please be prepared. Soon, Wu and other students were forcibly pulled into their respective realms. Wu immediately issued orders to all family dependents in the realm to prepare for battle. With his command, those locusts and dwarves all aggregated together. At this moment, within the thick fog, muscular flesh golems with exploding muscles walked out from the teleport gate. Wu is very surprised. It's just an elimination match. Is it necessary to play this big? Although this thing is an ordinary life form, it has combat power comparable to the average elite, and it is extremely resistant to attacks with tough skin and thick flesh. Fortunately, it moves slowly. Saying that, he reached out and summoned 50,000 lava locusts to the stage for battle, initiating a magma self-explosion. Soon, those flesh golems were completely wiped out. Wu could faintly smell the aroma of roasted meat. A huge amount of food is coming. Red Dwarf, drag the flesh golem's body back to me. After hearing the oracle, all the red dwarfs rushed forward one after another. After a quarter of an hour, those flesh golems were eaten clean by locusts, leaving only bones. Wu joked, "This is not an exam, it's clearly a meal delivery." On the other side, the class teachers watching outside sighed in succession. "Oh my, 20 students have been eliminated from my class, reducing by a third. Isn't the difficulty of this centralized exam a bit beyond the scope?" Director Mesu explained. "The principal, accompanied by 3 vice principals, is at the front line competing with the Magic Abyss civilization for the choice of the dimension and the flesh golem as the invading enemy for the elimination assessment. There must be a reason for this. It's not for us demigods to speculate." However, at this moment, Teacher Wen Tian suddenly exclaimed in alarm, "What a clever boy! The flesh golem that others see as a nightmare has arrived here." It actually became food for the family dependents to feed on. Quite skillful. Moreover, the family dependents are able to resist the toxins contained in the flesh golem's flesh and blood. This has left the teachers from other classes extremely surprised. Can locusts ignore the toxins of the flesh golem? This is indeed a new discovery with research value. Letian Lu snorted coldly. "Just got lucky. Just happened to hit the target by accident. His locusts are just garbage." When Wen Tian heard him insulting his own students, he couldn't help but speak up in disagreement. Luck is also a part of one's strength. I think the locusts he has cultivated are quite strong in terms of strength. Although it can only be considered as a presence at the bottom of otherworldly life, it is still considered as having crossed the threshold of entering the otherworldly. Letian Lu disagrees. Even so, in some respects, he is not as good as Goblin Wen Tian thinks he is very superficial. The advantage of locusts is their reproductive power, which can increase the population 1,000-fold in just 1 year. Letian Lu was shouting on the side. "In my class, there is a student named Mo Lu, and his family dependents are goblins. Dare to bet on their final grades?" Wen Tian was annoyed. "What's not to dare? Let's bet." Letian Lu asked all the teachers to be witnesses. "We will bet on a score of 5 points in divinity." Wen Tian readily agreed. "It's a deal." Letian Lu began to smirk. "Wen Tian, this time you won't lose out. Mo Lu is my own nephew. Are you willing to give the resources I've given to him to Wu? This is a hero who can manipulate bones. Now he has been arranged to participate in the student's centralized exam." Even the invigilating teachers were shocked. Just a while ago, The elimination round had just ended. There were only 430 students left in the ranking assessment. Among them, 130 chose to give up the exam. Those teachers were not surprised. After all, the centralized exam is too difficult. It is normal for some people to withdraw. However, after the teleport gate opened, what appeared were walking skeleton soldiers, with a number of about 100,000. Upon seeing such weak assessment monsters, the class teachers all showed surprised expressions. Isn't this just giving away points? Wu looked disappointed. I have over 1 billion hungry little locust babies here. Are you trying to make things difficult for me? After speaking, he issued the oracle. Ordered the more than 1 billion locusts to launch an attack. Soon, the swarm of locusts transformed into a dark cloud, colliding with the skeleton soldier invading the realm. After 2 hours, the battle finally ended. Wu squatted on the ground, unable to muster any enthusiasm. It was truly a noob infighting. Extremely boring. However, the second wave of monsters in the assessment consisted of around 100,000 skeleton soldiers, with a mix of many elite iron bone skeletons among them. Wu, ordinary locusts cannot be sent to die anymore. This wave decides to use suicide locusts. When with a combination of lava locusts. Wu noticed the lethality of lava ground against skeleton soldiers. He had an idea. If the lava continues to pile up, skeleton soldiers won't be able to swim through the lava. A slightly higher temperature would be better. Red Dwarf poured the scorching magma from the furnace into the lava ground. His voice fell. The Red Dwarf, standing on the hill, immediately poured out the molten iron in the container frantically. As a result, the ground near the teleport gate immediately turned into a death zone. As soon as a new skeleton soldier appeared, it would be annihilated instantly. This move left the teachers outside astonished. Wow, this young person's ideas are truly unique, when Tion chuckled. Who is this cute little student in our class? On the side, Letian Lu disdainfully said, What's so great about it? Just made it through to the 7th wave, right? Mo Lu from our class also made it to the 7th wave. In Mo Lu's realm, he not only has a large number of goblin family dependents, but also 13 arrow towers, 9 thunder towers, 12 flame towers, and so on. The total value is no less than 10 million MP. Letian Lu is overjoyed. Which one of you is tougher than me? So much resources have been invested. Isn't Mo Lu the first in this centralized exam? Just when he was daydreaming, more exclamations of surprise came from the side. Look at Shuang Qin's realm. Only see Shuang Qin's realm. There are 100 thunder towers alone. There are 300,000 elite storm finches in total. There are 100 Treant giants in otherworldly life. Those teachers all exclaimed that the heiress of the Qin family is indeed very strong. Others have wealth in their family, but she has a family within the mine. Even her own demigod identity is not as powerful as hers. Truly lavish. All 10 waves of skeleton soldiers were quickly annihilated. Out of 300 candidates who passed, only 18 remain. And the next wave of invasion is coming. The difficulty will increase significantly. Soon, a figure walks out from the teleport gate. The teachers reacted the fastest. When they recognized the figure, they all exclaimed in unison, Oh my God! It's a hero! A regular hero wouldn't make the teachers lose their composure. It's because this hero can manipulate skeletons. Necromancer Skeleton Tribe Hero Skeletal Manipulation Skeletal Fusion. At the first moment of its invasion into the realm, the scattered bone fragments on the ground seemed to be guided by some force, all converging towards the necromancer. 10 waves of skeleton soldiers, totaling over 1 million. The shattered bones produced are enough to pile up into a mountain. Under the control of the necromancer, countless broken bones aggregate and deform. In an instant, they aggregate into a skeleton giant as large as a mountain. They have appeared, they have appeared. The monster in the 11th round of assessment is actually a hero. I saw the necromancer raise the staff in his hand. Countless broken bones scattered on the ground seemed to be responding to some kind of guidance. In the blink of an eye, it aggregated into a skeleton giant as large as a mountain. At the moment it just formed, it began to unleash astonishing destructive power. A punch can shatter mountains. A stomp can split the ground. Family dependents, who had the upper hand before, have suffered unprecedented heavy blows one after another. Less than 3 minutes. 8 students' core family dependents couldn't resist, and were crushed into debris by the skeleton giant's foot. The teachers participating in the appearance battle were sweating profusely. This is just too difficult. 8 students chose to withdraw from the assessment due to heavy losses. On the side, Letian Lu was always watching Wu's realm. Something is not right. Why is the volume of the skeleton giant in the Wu realm so much smaller? There's an issue. He cheated. In other realms, skeleton giants are gigantic mountain-sized beings. However, in the Wu realm, not even one skeleton giant is as tall as a hill. When Tian quickly spotted something suspicious. That's because most of the shattered bones in the Wu realm have been burnt to ashes by lava. The necromancer naturally couldn't display their full power. At the same time, waiting for Tempest swords with the iron-cutting sword wind. Use self-created move Iron Cut. Quickly annihilated all the monsters in the 11th wave of the assessment. The system quickly broadcasted, the 11th wave is invading. Past. At this moment, Wu is yawning out of boredom. Originally thought the assessment would be difficult, didn't expect it to be this easy. Letian Lu looked at him with a disdainful expression. Suddenly exclaimed, "This is cheating! Definitely cheating! Wu must have stolen the answers!" When Tian immediately retorted, "Do you have any evidence that he stole the answers?" Letian Lu, however, said, "When Tian, you are covering up for your student. Be careful, I will report you to the educational institution." Everyone is wise. Who can't see that Wu is acting abnormally against the skeleton soldier? Who would actively clean up the battlefield after defeating the skeleton soldier? Unless he knows in advance that the necromancer will appear. Clean up the broken bones on the battlefield can effectively reduce the strength of the necromancer. I seriously doubt it. Wu knew the exam questions in advance. This is a serious cheating behavior. The school must investigate thoroughly. When Tian was speechless for a moment. After all, this matter seemed too much of a coincidence. Director Meisu came over to explain at this point. The content of this centralized exam was assigned by the principal right before departure. Even I don't know the specific details. If we really stole the questions, it can only be leaked by the principal. Teacher Lu, do you think the principal would do such a foolish thing? Upon hearing this, Letian Lu immediately broke out in a cold sweat. I was mistaken. It turns out that we relied on luck to defeat the necromancer. However, even if he did not cheat, there is still a significant amount of luck involved in his performance. This is very unfair to other students. Meisu became even more angry. Teacher Lu, as a demigod, said such ridiculous things. Civilization of the divine realm nurtures seeds. The talking has never been fair, but rather survival of the fittest. No matter how student will achieve good grades, as long as it's not cheating, this grade should belong to him. The 21st wave of monsters in the assessment is actually a lord entity. Even Wu, who took the top spot in the overall grades, praised it. That chest muscle is just too big. Just now, Letian Lu believes that Wu's grades have a lot of water content. This is very unfair to other students. But Meisu disagrees. She has long known that Letian Lu is abusing his power by secretly favoring his nephew Mo Lu with resources. This is the biggest injustice to other students. When Tian was even more furious after learning the truth. Bastard. No wonder you wanted to bet against Mo Lu and me. So he's your nephew. But my student Wu has already passed the 11th assessment. It's hard to say for your nephew. At this moment, inside Mo Lu's realm, all major defense towers, with a total value of 10 million MP, all destroyed by the skeleton giant. The goblin core family dependents underfoot also suffered heavy casualties. Under helplessness, he chose to forfeit. No more fighting. I can only go this far. I have decided to withdraw from the competition. When Tion has gained enough face, the result of the bet is out. My student Wu passed 11 rounds of assessment, while Mo Lu stopped here. That wager of 5 points of divinity. You won't go back on your word, right? Let Tian Lu also dare not to renege in front of everyone. Teacher Tian, please keep these 5 points of divinity safe. I will take them all back one day. An hour has passed. The 13th wave of invasion has also ended. There are only 3 candidates left. Wu Shuangqin and Fei Huang. But who is the first? We need to watch a few more waves. Soon, the 14th wave of monster invasion came. Fei Huang's core family dependents suffered serious injuries. In the end, he had to reluctantly withdraw from the competition, achieving a 3rd place ranking. As the 16th wave arrived, Shuangqin's core family dependents, the Storm Finch, were collectively exhausted. The Thunder Tower was severely damaged, and 6 Treant giants also perished. Knowing that she couldn't withstand the next wave of invasion, she voluntarily withdrew from the competition. In this way, Wu is now ranked first in the whole level. Director Mei Su was both surprised and delighted. This Wu has given her too many surprises. Wu threw himself wholeheartedly into the assessment. At this moment, he did not know the result. He had been resisting invading monsters, and had reached the 20th wave. In front of the enormous number of bursting locusts, a legion of 5,000 skeleton knights of the otherworldly life suffered a huge impact. The necromancer still wants to aggregate shattered bones. Summon the skeleton giant for counterattack. But just from the moment he lifts his palm, was targeted by the iron-cutting Sword Wind, who is also a hero. A move of iron cut directly tore his body apart, sending the necromancer to the western heaven. The 20th wave of invasion has ended. The 21st wave of invasion is about to begin. The difficulty will increase significantly. Please prepare yourselves mentally, students. As the alert sound rang out, a strong sense of death emanated from the teleport door. Even the temperature around dropped sharply by a few degrees. Soon, a magnificent throne of bones was moved out from the teleport door. Sitting on it was a skeleton lord with bones as white as jade, and the huge undulations on its chest were particularly eye-catching. This instantly rejuvenated the constantly yawning Wu. This is too much. It's too big. This is a Lord Entity Skeleton Lord that not even a demigod has ever possessed. Now it appears in the high school students' examination room. Those demigod teachers are shocked and screaming one after another. This kind of entity. Even they might not possess it. At the moment Wu saw the Skeleton Lord, he knew that his challenge had reached its end. There was no way he could resist this wave of invasion. Wu decisively gave up the assessment. My assets are not even enough for the Lord Entity to use as a toothpick. As his words fell, an unstoppable horror suction came from within the teleport gate, forcefully pulling the Skeleton Lord into the gate. But the Lord Entity does not want to exit like this. Finally had the chance to stretch and relax the muscles. She grabbed onto the portal next to her, as if she had gone mad. She stubbornly held on for about 5 seconds. During this time, the Skeleton Lord did not launch an attack. Instead, it roughly threw out a rib bone. That rib bone turned into a stream of light, and quickly flew towards Wu's realm. After breaking free from the gravitational pull, it directly destroyed a large piece of land. Wu was frightened and nervous watching this, because the energy of the Lord Entity is more than enough to easily kill any hero before everything is over. Wu's consciousness was immediately teleported back to the original world. Soon, a huge leaderboard appeared in front of him. It read, "Leaderboard, first place Wu." His class scored an impressive 252 points, ranking first among the 3 advanced classes. Letian Lu's class, on the other hand, only managed to secure the 8th spot. Seeing the leaderboard, Letian Lu gritted his teeth in frustration. If Wu and the other 2 didn't change classes, the title of the top class would stay in his class. Those students with poor grades could face expulsion from the school if they failed the elimination assessment, but it wouldn't affect the realm. The award ceremony will start soon. The school will reward based on the rankings, directly distributed into the hands of each student. And Wu's reward is exceptionally gorgeous. He received rewards for the top 50 places. He even received rewards for all 3 places at the same time. Even Shuangqin was moved by the 1 point of divinity. The following students were all shocked by the generous rewards from the class teacher. Wow! So many rewards. Is this guy going to make a fortune? Wu fell into contemplation. What kind of reward should these exchange cards be redeemed for? It needs some careful consideration. However, when Tian volunteered bravely, "I will help you choose the most suitable rewards," Wu nodded, praising teacher Wen Tian as indeed the most reliable. Later, he followed Wen Tian's advice. He exchanged the Realm Region card for a 20 square kilometer dense forest terrain. The Level 1 Holy Relic exchange card was exchanged for a Level 1 Holy Relic, Toxic Mist Orb, which was directly used with the Realm Core upgrade card. Finally, he built a Level 1 Sanctuary. This is a set of high-quality exchange cards. Only the student who ranks first in the grade is worthy of owning it. Wu shone brightly in this centralized exam. Having difficulty in exchanging for the divine weapon, only able to exchange for 1 item. The iron-cutting sword wind requires 4 items to unleash its full power. Maybe it's better to find a hammer or something. So, he exchanged a war hammer worth 100,000 MP with Red Dwarf, made from the core of the Lord entity, Infernal Hydra. However, when he saw the minimum requirements for usage, Wu felt immediately depressed. It seems he can't use it right away. He will have to wait for a flame hero to appear in Red Dwarf. An hour later, the homeroom teacher, Wen Tian, announced on the stage, "Now, let's welcome the top 3 students in our class to come up and receive the class rewards." Under the gaze of their classmates, Wu Shuangqin and a student named Sun Su walked up to the stage. Wen Tian said that Wu achieved the first place and received a good grade. The class reward is 100 class points and the opportunity to choose any item from the class's vault of high-level resources. He then opened the resource list. It includes Holy Relic, Giant's Fist, Fountain of Life, Core of Mystic Iron or Skill Frost Missile, Building Goblin Nest, and Otherworldly Life Liger. Wu even without much consideration chose the Fountain of Life. As long as he placed it in the realm, it could directly affect his core family dependents, the Locusts. Wen Tian looked at him admiringly. This child is remarkable. Instead of stubbornly pursuing strong combat power, he can recognize his own strengths and promote them. His future is limitless. After school, Wu was about to leave when 3 commanding voices were heard. "Congratulations, our parvenu. Wu, sell me that little bit of divinity you got in the centralized exam. I'll exchange it with you for 105 million MP. Let's make the trade now." This tone makes Wu very unhappy. He actually has an extra 5 million MP. Is this guy rich and dumb, or what? He asked coldly. What's the reason? Sun Tzu urged. What reason do you need? As long as you agree. 150 million MP is yours. This MP. Enough to buy you the route of the locust life evolution. Change your own destiny. Wu was a bit tempted, but he thought there must be a catch. So he straightforwardly refused, saying, I disagree. Sun Tzu was very frustrated, but he still pleaded with him. Classmate Wu, my grandfather is about to be promoted to a genuine deity and really needs your divinity. Sell me this divinity, apart from MP. I will owe you a favor. I see he is friendly. I'm thinking of 110 million MP. It is definitely a huge amount. I can definitely let the realm carry the number of locusts. Increase by tens of times. By then, this small amount of divinity has already been earned back. Thinking of this, Wu loosened his mouth. In that case, then I'll At the same time as he was speaking, his phone suddenly received a text message. That was a message sent by Shuangqin. The bit of divinity you gained in the centralized exam. I'll spend 150.5 million MP to buy it. Do you agree? This is an Inferno hammer made by the core of Infernal Hydra. Now, Wu threw it directly in front of the Red Dwarf. He bestowed the Inferno hammer upon them. Just a while ago, classmate Sun Tzu wanted to exchange 1 billion and 10 million MP for the divinity Wu obtained in the centralized exam. Wu is a little tempted, just as they were about to agree. But then, they saw a message from Shuangqin. Wu was completely stunned. Shuangqin bid 150 million. Exactly 40 million more than Sun Tzu MP. A little divinity equals 100 million MP, but their bids have clearly exceeded the original value. Wu couldn't help but ask, isn't a little divinity worth 100 million MP? If the faith energy condensed is not generated through one's own family dependence, but also mixed with the faith energy of other deities, then the success rate of divinity condensation will be greatly reduced. Therefore, the current market price for divinity is 1.5 billion shikuan. And it's valuable but not available. Wu immediately realized. So that's how it is. In other words, that Sun Tzu guy is trying to score a deal. Then he directly replied to Sun Tzu with a word, "Go away." Sun Tzu was almost furious upon hearing this. He immediately uttered harsh words. Wu, don't think you can be arrogant just because you got first place in the centralized exam by cheating. You wait and see. Later, Wu sold a bit of divinity to Shuangqin for 150 million MP, which was quickly deposited into his account. At this moment, he only wanted to roll in the sea of money. After school, Wu logged into his realm for the first time and planned to build a level 1 sanctuary near the camp of the Red Dwarf. After a period of recuperation, the number of red dwarfs has also slightly increased, but it is far less than the rapid proliferation speed of locusts. There are currently 59 people. Then Wu found a relatively barren land and placed the fountain of life in the center. Presumably, with the passage of time, this land will become fertile ground. Wu threw the Inferno hammer obtained by the exchange card to the red dwarf at the furnace. Those red dwarfs all knelt and worshipped. Great deity, thank you for all that you have bestowed upon us. Finally, Wu selected one among them, the strongest youth, and named him Divine Hammer before handing over the otherworldly seed in his hand. I hope you will become a hero soon. Raise the Inferno hammer, as a gift from the deity. The red dwarfs are extremely grateful. All members become devout believers, and the red dwarfs, who receive the otherworldly seed, have even leaped to become fanatical believers. The rewards obtained from the centralized exam are almost gone, with only the level 1 holy relic toxic mist orb left. At that time, he followed the advice of the class teacher Wen Tian to choose this holy relic, but what is its use? Just as Wu was puzzled, when Tian's video application arrived. Wu asked, Teacher Tian, what can I help you with so late? Without beating around the bush, Wen Tian said, During the centralized exam that day, I made a bet with Letian Lu on 5 points of divinity, and your excellent performance led me to win big. So, I thought about it, and realized that you also deserve a share of this bet. Therefore, I have prepared a reward for you. One of them is a divinity card. The other one is the demonic egg, a trophy I obtained while battling in the outer region. It is an egg laid by the Infernal Worm King personally, refined into a stillborn state using special secret techniques. Even in a stillborn state, it can generate 10 liters of demonic essence daily, assimilating into the lowest tier infernal worm. This is a treasure obtained by a demigod during battles in the outer region, the demonic egg. It is an egg personally laid by the Infernal Worm King. The stillborn was created using a special secret technique. When Wu entered the class, Wen Tian once said that he would help him complete the life evolution of his core family dependence. This is one of the paths he controls. Wu thought to himself that everyone looks down on him just because they think the family dependence of the locusts are too rubbish. If he could grasp a path of life evolution, The potential of locusts assimilated into infernal worm family dependents is not comparable to the innate elite stormfinch of Shuangqin, but it can reach the level of ordinary life forms like goblins and dwarves. Just thought of it. Wu's gaze became fiery. Decisively chose the demonic egg between the two. When Tian is very satisfied. The compatibility between the infernal worm and toxic property is very high. You can load the level 1 Holy Relic Toxic Mist Orb onto the core. The result will definitely satisfy you. However, Wu has another question. Teacher, do you have a source for a large amount of meat? The quality of the meat doesn't matter much. The meat provided in the store is just too expensive. When Tian believes that the cost of purchasing meat in the store is too high. Recently, the principal is tackling an infernal depths dimension where there will certainly be a large number of flesh golem corpses. I can inquire for you. Wu is even more convinced that switching shifts was the right choice. After expressing gratitude, he hung up the call. Currently, Wu's level 2 Holy Relic Gluttony code is generating high profits. The locusts in the realm are turning into gluttons one by one. They eat incredibly quickly. So based solely on the realm's output, it is impossible to satisfy the locust's appetites. He was thinking about it while placing the demonic egg under the ancient tree. This way, the production of demonic essence will be faster. Then, letting the locusts consume it will lead to their evolution. Wu caught a locust and let it absorb the demonic essence, which instantly transformed into a cocoon. He then stood guard beside the demonic cocoon for 2 full days. It was only then that he noticed signs of the demonic cocoon finally breaking out of its shell, with more and more cracks appearing on the surface. Soon, an infernal worm enveloped in demonic energy appeared before his eyes. It was 10 centimeters long, with sharper teeth, bearing some resemblance to a locust. Although it is still an ordinary creature, its strength is 100 times greater than that of a locust. There is no breeding information, so each infernal worm must rely on demonic essence for assimilation. 1 drop of demonic essence can assimilate 1 locust. There are 20 drops of demonic essence in 1 milliliter, so in 10 liters, there are 200,000 drops of demonic essence. If successful, you can obtain 200,000 infernal worms daily. Moreover, the newly born infernal worms are also influenced by the Holy Relic Gluttony code. It won't be long before they can advance to the elite rank. Then, Wu inserted the level 1 Holy Relic Toxic Mist Orb into the realm core in the blink of an eye. Just born, the infernal worm unexpectedly underwent over 90% mutation, directly transforming into an elite toxic infernal worm, boosting its strength to another level. At the same time, in a certain dimension of the infernal depths, Principal Ping Yin is furrowing his brows. Despite being a genuine deity, he has encountered a dilemma. After fighting in the infernal depths for 4 years, the number of demonic creatures that died at his hands is countless. Even though Ping Yin has built dozens of incinerators, it is still like a drop in the bucket to clean up the bodies. These are a pile of flesh golem bodies that have accumulated over 4 years. Even if the bodies are sealed inside the card, when the MP on the card is depleted, these bodies will still burst out and continue to contaminate. Just when Principal Ping Yin felt extremely frustrated, a video call interrupted his thoughts. It was Teacher Wen Tian. What does he want from me? After the call was connected, Wen Tian awkwardly said, Principal, I apologize for calling you on video abruptly. I wanted to ask if you could provide a flesh golem body. A student of mine wants to purchase it. Ping Yin was taken aback. What does your student need a flesh golem body for? Wen Tian replied frankly. He plans to use it to feed his core family dependents. His core family dependents are locusts. During the centralized exam elimination assessment, they have consumed flesh golem bodies without any negative reactions. Ping Yin naturally understood a little. Isn't this student the little genius who had a battle with a demigod a few days ago? He didn't expect that such a small locust could have such a function. Unfortunately, the living conditions in the infernal depths are not suitable for the survival of locusts. Otherwise, you can introduce a batch of locusts to come and nibble on the flesh of the flesh golems. This way, We can save a lot of MP. Here are 1,000,000 flesh golem corpses. You can pass them to him first. However, the next day, when Tion came again, the student's flesh golem from yesterday had been completely consumed. He wanted to inquire if there could be a long-term supply. Pingyin was shocked. What? Eaten up in just one day, and still expecting a long-term supply. When Tion nodded. I also think this idea is a bit excessive. So, Pingyin was astonished. But very happy. Ahem. The corpse of the flesh golem can be managed well enough. But long-term supply cannot be given away for free. How about this? 1 MP can buy 100 flesh golems, with a minimum order of 10,000 MP. When Tion immediately relayed this to Principal Wu, who reported back 5 minutes later. Wu said he needed 1,000,000 MP first. With an ample food supply, Wu's core family dependents were able to expand massively in just a few days. The elites within the realm are already counted in billions. After the number reached the limit that the realm could bear, Wu launched a sacrifice, sacrificing a staggering 12 billion elites. Then, 3 equally valuable options appeared in front of him. Option 1, 5 giant warriors of the otherworldly life. Option 2, a level 3 skill crystal toxic blast that can be comprehended up to ultimate toxic blast. Option 3, breaking down matter. After seeing these 3 options, Wu's eyes lit up. The giant warriors of the renowned destructive power of the giant clan. Even if they are put up for sale, each of them is worth at least 10,000,000 MP. But the combination of level 3 toxic blast with infernal worm, plus the level 1 holy relic toxic mist orb, is simply unbeatable. However, currently my realm core is only loaded with gluttony code and toxic mist orb after reaching level 3. There is simply no empty slot available to load level 3 toxic blast. After some thought, Wu ultimately decides to choose the third option. The disassembly machine can break down matter and extract energy crystals, a valuable food source for magic-type family dependents. It's quite precious. I'll make money lying down. This is a disassembly machine that can break down matter and extract energy crystals. Wu tries to throw in 5 tons of iron ore for an experiment. The disassembly machine immediately started to run wildly. Soon, 5 hours later, 3 energy crystals the size of fists dropped in front. Wu is very satisfied with this. Iron crystal stones can be used as food for certain special races. It can also be used as forging material. Each one can be sold for 5 MP. Just at this moment, a voice of a red dwarf is heard in the realm. Great deity. We were attacked by the undead while mining. 3 companions were injured as a result. The chief of the Divine Hammer tribe is now fighting against the undead. I hope that the deity can bestow divine blessing. Save the red dwarf. Upon hearing this, Wu immediately separated his consciousness to investigate. Soon, he found the location of the red dwarf. The chieftain of the Divine Hammer tribe was wielding a weapon modeled after the infernal hammer called the Faith Weapon. He swung it vigorously. While his opponent was a tiny skeleton, nearly the same height as a dwarf, it bore some resemblance to the Lord entity that appeared in the 21st wave of the centralized exam. We noticed carefully that the tiny skeleton had astonishing combat power. When its small bone claws clashed with Faith's warhammer, it could easily leave claw marks on it. Its bone claws, however, did not suffer any damage. Wu excitedly used the deity authorization, wanting to check the detailed information of the tiny skeleton, but received a failure prompt. Query failed. Tiny skeleton is not your believer, and you do not have the means of investigation. Unable to view its information. In helplessness, Wu had to issue an oracle. Summon heroes Iron-Cutting Swordwind to come in battle. Iron-Cutting Swordwind is indeed born for battle. With a spinning slash from the Swordwind clan, Tiny Skeleton is shattered into pieces on the ground. But those shattered bones seem to be drawn by some unseen force, continuously trembling on the ground. Shortly after, they return to their original state. And there is not a single flaw in the bones. We did not exterminate, but took the opportunity to persuade. Submit to me, believe in me, and you will gain a new life. Unexpectedly, that tiny skeleton did not drink the toast, but instead drank the penalty wine. The divine incarnation of Wu is just a sweep of the bone claw. But Wu laughed loudly at its ignorance. Naive. The realm remains unbroken. My divine incarnation can last forever. Then commanded iron-cutting sword wind and the dwarf divine hammer to execute oracle. Keep smashing for me. Smash until it obeys me. 3 days later, the tiny skeleton was tortured by the iron-cutting sword wind until it lost its luster. It knelt before Wu and uttered a faint female voice. I am willing to submit to the deity. Wu touched the smooth skull of the tiny skeleton, and then checked its information panel in the system. Family dependence name. Skeleton tribe family dependence level lord entity undead weakness. Seal. Family dependence talent. Crystal bone revival as a teacher for demigod, this time not even giving face. Using demonic wyvern of otherworldly life as the price. Bribe student Xiaolong Zhang. Let him deal with Wu in the assessment. Just a short while ago. After the selection in the centralized exam, almost all the students who were able to stay are elites. But there is still one more assessment to come. It is a crucial test that can truly widen the gap between them. It may even have an impact on which university they will be accepted to in the future. Wu immediately remembered his grandfather's last wish. The Imperial Capital Institute is one of the top universities that specialize in civilization of the divine realm. Inside, the disordered star ocean holds clues about his missing parents. When Tian looked around at the students sitting in the room. To be honest, everyone will be teleported to one of the dimensions in the infernal depths. The specific exam content will be sent to your email later. It's 1 hour before the start. The classroom was about to explode. Students were discussing the everlasting presence of demonic energy in infernal depths dimension. Typical family dependents are vulnerable to being eroded by demonic energy. Only demonic creatures and undead can survive normally. Additionally, necrotic disasters frequently occur there. However, Xiaolong Zhang is extremely excited because his core family dependents are demonic creatures, giving him an innate advantage. This evaluation seems tailor-made for him. At that moment, an unknown number called. Letian Lu's voice came over the line after Xiaolong Zhang answered. Xiaolong, I need you to take care of someone for me. Xiaolong Zhang immediately understood. Is it Wu? Letian Lu nodded. You are helping the teacher with a task. The teacher will never treat you unfairly. This is the assistance the teacher is giving you. Keep it for now. It will be helpful for your exam. Xiaolong Zhang opened the email and saw a card sealed with an otherworldly life demonic wyvern. It is a powerful race comparable to heroes. An hour passed quickly. Under Wen Tian's instructions, all students were teleported to one of the dimensions in the infernal depths, assigned randomly to different areas. Wu took 3 minutes to read through the exam content. There was only one task: to eradicate more than 90% of the skeletons at the skeleton barracks, destroy the skeleton tribe's flag. Following that, 4 options appeared in front of Wu. He had the opportunity to summon his family dependence manifestation once. If the family dependence manifestation died, he would descend in his true form. If his true form perished, he would truly die. Without hesitation, Wu directly chose to incarnate as the skeleton lord. In such an environment, it was the only way to avoid the intrusion of demonic energy in the infernal depths. The next second, wisps of demonic energy entwined around Wu's body. Then the flesh and blood on his body disappeared in an instant, leaving only white jade-like bones. Wu now looks like a tiny skeleton. The demonic energy wafting in the air has no adverse effects on him. Instead, it makes him feel very comfortable. Because the exam regulations stipulate that the daily summoning of family dependence is limited to 100 only. Therefore, Wu summoned 100 gluttony locusts to try it out. As he expected, in less than an hour, 94 out of the 100 gluttony locusts died. Among the remaining 6, 3 were barely alive. 3 of them were infected with demonic energy and mutated into demonic locusts. Creatures that undergo demonization often lose their rationality and become extremely violent. However, locusts themselves do not possess intelligence. Even after undergoing demonization, they still follow Wu's orders. After the 3 locusts completed their mutations, Wu arrived at a dark forest. The dark red fruits on the tree are the task at hand, the so-called necromancer's fruit. He immediately instructed 3 demonic locusts to pick the fruits. The actions of the demonic locusts are very fast. Having sharp saw-like teeth, they quickly devoured 100 necromancer's fruits. When Wu was about to submit the task, but he heard a series of eerie low roars, only to see a corpse crawling out of the ground. Their bodies are severely decayed, leaving only withered bones, with some rotten flesh still lingering on them. These corpses without wisdom immediately lashed out towards Wu. Wu happened to want to test the power of this family's dependent manifestation. 20 corpses quickly crawled out from the ground and were cleared by Wu. The calmness of the surroundings was restored once again. He glanced at the necromancer's fruit on the ground and thought that completing this task would only earn him around 20 points. But the advantage is its simplicity. For the 100-point task, should he defeat a demigod or focus on quantity to win? Just like that. By the end of the day, he had collected 800 necromancer's fruit and sealed them in 40 cards. Although each person can only complete the task once. But he came up with a brilliant solution. Posted information about exchanging task items in the class group. Class advisor Wen Tian did not intervene. Just reminded them to only use resources obtained from this dimension for trading. If violated 3 times, the qualification for the exam will be cancelled. The class group suddenly became lively. Those students also have extra resources on them. Resource integration also saved them a lot of time. I'll also join in. I'll contribute 50 MP. At this moment, on the other side, a man is sneering in the corner. I was just wondering how to find you. You actually dare to reveal your location. This time, let's see how you die. Xiaolongzhang chose to transform into a demonic wyvern and summoned 100 infernal hounds to follow closely behind, advancing in the direction of Wu. The man ordered the locusts to harvest all 800 necromancer's fruits. Then in the class group, he and other classmates consolidated resources together. At first, his assessment points ranking soared all the way up. But soon, he fell to the 18th place. Wu is clear in his heart. His advantage cannot be maintained for too long. The main reason is that his family dependents are too weak. Moreover, the assessment limits the number of family dependents that can be summoned. He simply cannot do advanced tasks. Just as Wu is in distress, a troop of skeleton soldiers is approaching the necromancer's fruit tree. The necromancer's fruit is an important material for enhancing the strength of skeleton soldiers. They have come this time to pick the necromancer's fruit. But after coming here, found that the necromancer's fruit on the tree was already empty. The skeleton soldiers were furious at the sight. The soul fire in their eye sockets kept flickering. If they return empty-handed, they will definitely be heavily punished by Skeleton Knight-sama. At this moment, Wu, who has transformed into a lord entity, walked over. In his heart, he wondered, I don't know if my current form can subdue them. When the skeleton soldiers saw Wu in this form, they were stunned on the spot. Every bone in their bodies was shaking at that moment. Before long, all the skeleton soldiers were prostrating themselves on the ground. Kneeling down and paying respects to Wu with a grand gesture is the suppression of race level. It is all that comes from the soul. Wu is quite surprised. Oh my! No way, this actually works. For no reason. Surprisingly, there are more than a dozen skeleton soldiers true believer. He was actually worried about not having any family dependents, so he decided to just go along with the mistake and accept this group of soldiers. All of you get up. My family dependents. Take me to inspect your camp. They soon arrived at a valley. Inside, there were thousands of skeleton soldiers guarding this place. Among them, there is also a skeleton knight of otherworldly life. Even though Wu is so small in size. But the intimidation on a soul level is undeniable. Skeleton Knight still chose to submit. Without spending a single soldier. Just gained the faith of a skeleton soldier team. This was such a big win. The Skeleton Knight said respectfully, I was once a member of the First Legion. I got separated from the main force during a confrontation with the Flesh Golem. I had to stay here because I had to deal with the Flesh Golem's invasion every day. The skeleton soldiers under my command are decreasing day by day. Therefore, I sent the skeleton soldier to find the necromancer's fruit to enhance the strength of the skeleton soldier. Wu seemed pensive. Since that's the case, I need to make them stronger. On the second day, Wu's assessment score ranking dropped from 18 to 178 directly. Many classmates in the group chat are lamenting that Wu's era is over. However, Wu is disdainful and thinks it's time to make an effort. Shortly after, he brought out a large number of items and skeleton crystals from the realm. All were distributed to the skeleton soldiers. Receiving blessings from the deity, the skeleton knight was extremely grateful. A few minutes later, the skeleton soldiers who absorbed the skeleton crystal leaped and transformed into elite iron bone soldiers. The man wanted to avoid being disturbed by the demonic energy inside the abyss. He chose to transform into a skeleton lord of necromancy. What surprised him was that, under the suppression of race level, not only did he subdue a team of skeleton soldiers, he even made the skeleton knight, who is an otherworldly life, kneel down in submission. Wu gave the order, commanding these skeleton soldier squads to arrive at the entrance of the Flesh Golem's lair. According to the briefing, inside, there are approximately 8,000 to 10,000 Flesh Golems. While here in Han, there's only a little over 1,000 skeleton soldier troops. If they were to face each other head-on in battle, they definitely wouldn't win. He plans to gradually wear down the enemy through guerrilla warfare. So, he sent out a seemingly very weak skeleton soldier to wander near the entrance of the Flesh Golem's den. Those Flesh Golems don't have brains. When they see an intruder, they swarm out all at once. The number is no less than 100. The skeleton soldier then followed Wu's instructions. He jogged all the way to lead these Flesh Golems to the designated location. Immediately, thousands of skeletons jumped out from nowhere, surrounding more than 100 Flesh Golems. At this moment, they only felt their minds shrinking. The hopeless battle began immediately. The skeleton soldiers were outnumbered 10 to 1, and they also wielded weapons gifted by Wu. Wu discovered that the skeleton knight possessed the power to transform corpses into skeleton soldiers, thereby increasing their ranks in a unique way. 1 hour later, Wu's skeleton soldier team has reached over 7,000 people. There are only about 3,000 Flesh Golems left in the lair. He realized that the timing was right. He immediately issued the "Clean the nest" command. Let 7,000 skeleton soldiers charge into the nest at once. All the Flesh Golems were eliminated in less than 3 hours. At this point, the skeleton knight presented a flesh core. It looks a bit dirty, but after all, it is a level 1 holy relic that has the power to enhance the health of core family dependents. Receive the assessment points. Wu's ranking also instantly rose to 108th place. On the other side, an infernal hound is searching in the necromancer's fruit forest, but can only find some locust eggs. Xiaolongzhang, incarnated as a demonic wyvern, cursed loudly. Damn it! Where the hell did that brat Wu go? He then saw that Wu's ranking had changed. It instantly increased by 60 points. Combining the information from the task list, he deduced that Wu was near the Flesh Golem's lair. But when he rushed to the entrance of the lair, he saw many soldiers stationed outside. He couldn't help but feel suspicious in his heart. Damn it, Wu! You actually secretly harbored the family dependents of the skeleton tribe. Do you want to achieve good results in this assessment by doing this? Dream on. Shortly after, he commanded all the infernal hounds of Oracle to pounce at once. Tear apart all the soldiers guarding outside. take advantage of Wu's lack of reaction. Then he lunged at him. In fact, the infernal hound itself is very powerful. Moreover, it is in the environment of the infernal depths, which enhances its strength. Shior far surpasses ordinary elites. The man transformed into a demonic wyvern comparable to a hero. A swipe of the dragon claw directly transformed Wu into a skeleton lord. The infernal hound under Xiaolongjiang's command pounced towards Wu. The surrounding skeleton soldiers would not allow their leader to be attacked. They bravely stepped forward to block the way, forming an extremely strong iron bone wall in front of Wu. Xiaolongjiang, transformed into a demonic wyvern, couldn't help but sigh at the scene. It was only the second day since Xiaolongjiang descended into the infernal depths dimension. Wu quickly aggregated so many troops. If we wait a few more days, who else can stop him? He must be dealt with today. Xiaolongjiang realizes the endless trouble ahead. Rushed into the battlefield immediately. The body covered with thick scales charged straight ahead. Crushed the large pieces of elite iron skeleton into fragments. Even if it's the skeleton knight of otherworldly life. Just barely blocked one attack. After several collisions, the bones on his body also shattered severely. Wu decided to find out the truth. Xiaolongjiang, we have no enmity. Why did you attack my family dependents? Xiaolongjiang did not reveal his secret love for Shuangqin. Instead, a roar shook away all the sand, rocks, and mud along the way. Then, a dragon claw swept across Wu. Immediately shattered the jade-like bones all over the ground. The skeleton soldiers lost their leader. The soul fire in their eye sockets flickered intensely. They went mad and charged towards the demonic wyvern. However, Xiaolongjiang didn't even bother to look. A bunch of unruly rabble. There's no need to kill them. Although they are skeletons, they have loyal souls. Only by killing all enemies can the leader's spirit be properly honored. When Xiaolongjiang left, the bones of Wu were suddenly pulled together by some force and aggregated again. This is one of the powers of the Skeleton Lord Revival. It commands the skeletons who are standing still in silence not to stand stupidly. Gather all forces and leave this place as soon as possible. Only by hiding in a place where Xiaolongjiang cannot find you. Cut off all communications. Wait until you have enough forces under your command, then find an opportunity to seek revenge. On the other hand, Xiaolongjiang opened the list of candidates withdrawing from the exam. After looking for a long time, he didn't find Wu's name on it. He stubbornly returned to the main list to search for the name. Indeed, he discovered the name. Wu, ranked 163rd on the list. In other words, the previous Wu faked his death. He immediately led the infernal hound back to the flesh golem's lair. Even if it means wasting time this time, I will exterminate all of you. However, when they returned to the entrance of the nest, they found it completely empty. Not even a single intact bone was left on the ground. Xiaolongjiang angrily ordered, "Oracle, search for me. Do not let any skeleton within a radius of 100 miles escape." At this moment, Wu has already escaped 50 kilometers away after battling Xiaolongjiang. The skeleton army now only has 5,000 soldiers left. He can only use more skeleton crystals to help strengthen the skeleton soldiers. Absorbing the pure energy of the necromancer, the skeleton soldiers not only recovered from their injuries, but also began to evolve. Some evolved into iron skeletons, with one even evolving into a skeleton knight. But Wu knows that their current strength is far from enough. To be recognized by the Imperial Academy, they must enhance their abilities significantly. They need to achieve outstanding results to stand out. He then took on Mission 64. The Fallen is a native creature of the Infernal Depths dimension. It has mediocre strength. This trash was marked with 80 points. Apparently, the scale must exceed 1 million. Coincidentally, I can use the Fallen to mass-produce skeleton soldiers. The target is the Fallen clan. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, 2 months have passed. Nearly 300 students in the entire grade have applied for the re-examination. Among them, Fei Huang and Mo Lu have the most outstanding results, holding the first and second spots. Meanwhile, Wu is currently ranked last in the entire grade. Letian Lu was publicly mocked. Already said it earlier. Wu is just trying to take advantage of the situation. He only got first place in the centralized exam by doing so. But some teacher who can't see the truth treats him like a treasure. Wu is just a waste. No matter how many resources you give him, he can't achieve anything worthwhile. When Tian felt insulted, he angrily said, "Why don't we make another bet then? The student who wins the championship this time will still be Wu. Are you willing to bet or not?" Letian Lu is longing for it. He has also increased the stakes. "I don't have 10 points of divinity. Shior comic, but I have divine healing. Shior comic, I take divine healing bet with you." 3 Skeleton Knight first time collaboration summon. Surprisingly, it accidentally summoned a mutated otherworldly life instead. It is a being even more powerful than the Skeleton Knight. Just recently, when Tian, unable to stand Letian Lu insulting Wu, actually used 10 points of divinity as a wager. The bet was that Wu would be the champion of this assessment. Letian Lu lost 5 points of divinity last time. There are no spare divinity cards left on hand. Had to take out the level 3 divine healing and gamble with him. Actually, when Tian was not impulsive. Because he knew that Wu had already started to tackle a task with an assessment score of 80. Once completed, such a high difficulty task will attract the attention of top-tier universities. At the same time, in a certain dimension of the infernal depths. On this side, there were originally millions of the fallen ones camped. But now the number has dropped to less than 100,000. This is all because Wu is using guerrilla warfare. He lures out the fallen ones in batches to be killed, then resurrects their bodies as skeleton soldiers. The current number of his skeleton soldiers. It has now reached an astonishing 900,000. The disparity in military strength is so great. He immediately issued the order for the Oracle army to roll out. Skeleton Knight took the lead and stormed into the camp of the fallen ones, where they rose up in resistance. But in the blink of an eye, they were overwhelmed by a massive number of skeleton soldiers. Every time one of the fallen goes down, it means a skeleton soldier stands up. Even the fallen leader, Prayer, has the power to be resurrected. But it can't compare to the summoning speed of the 3 Skeleton Knights at all. Not even 20 minutes. Wu has successfully captured the fallen one's camp in one fell swoop. After completing the clearance task, Wu instructed 3 Skeleton Knights to simultaneously use summoning power on the body of the fallen Prayer, only to see the flesh and blood on the corpse dissipate rapidly. Soul fire unexpectedly ignited in the originally hollow eye sockets. Then a mutated skeleton clan otherworldly life appeared before their eyes. Skeleton Summoner Otherworldly Undead Talent. Hard Bone Skeleton Revival. View the attribute panel. Wu exclaimed in amazement. "I'm going." Skeleton Summoner is stronger than Skeleton Knight. Skeleton Summoner points towards the back. Just now, the skeleton soldier that had been smashed into fragments. A faint green light envelopes it. The scattered skeleton fragments reassemble in an instant. The skeleton soldier killed in battle unexpectedly came back to life. In this way, there will be no more casualties among Wu's army in the future. Admiringly, this skeleton summoner really has some abilities. The skeleton knight loots inside the fallen one's tribe. A total of 3 good spoils were turned in to Wu. The level 1 holy relic can allow some core family dependents to unleash the power of a level 1 fireball model of hero fragment. When a quarter of the model of hero is assembled, it allows the family dependents to merge. Promoting the hero fallen source can bestow the race with fallen power. Wu is both surprised and happy. This last piece of loot is the fallen source. It turned out to be an item that can trigger life evolution. He immediately submitted the task. His ranking rose to 401st place. And he received a reward, a level 2 skill crystal chain fireball. Later, he chose a nearby Infernal Depths local race with an assessment score of 70 points. Issued an oracle facing 1,000,000 soldiers. The army started to move out. The man is crazily spawning 1,000,000 troops in the Infernal Depths dimension. In just 3 days, he went from being last to becoming 4th in the grade ranking. Such a terrifying speed of promotion. It made those teachers who used to look down on him amazed. They all praised that when Tion had really struck gold. However, Letty and Lu still insisted on being tough. So what if he was promoted to the 4th level in his age group? He was not the first anyway. But as soon as he finished speaking, the voice of Director Su came over the broadcast. 2 top universities extended an olive branch to student Wu. There is also a second-rate university. Students can directly enroll without taking the college entrance examination. Letty and Lu can't stand any good news about Wu. I protest. Why do you only report invitations from Wu classmates' colleges? Why not mention other classmates? But Director Su said that only Wu has reached 3,000 points and completed at least one task with a score of 80 or above, so he is the only one who received the invitation. Just when Letty and Lu was feeling down, he suddenly heard that his classmate Shuang Qin received an invitation from the top-notch academy, Berserker Academy. His mood improved. He immediately contacted Xiaolong Zhang, who is currently undergoing assessment. There are only 3 tasks left. You must complete them first. Do not let Wu take the lead. As long as he is not in first place, I can win the bet. Meanwhile, Wu is contemplating the 3 tasks listed in the document. Currently my score has reached 3,480 points, ranking 3rd. I am 130 points behind the first place. So, I still need to complete 2 tasks. But the remaining tasks are all tough nuts to crack. I wonder if my 2,000,000 skeleton soldiers, 2 heroes, and nearly 200 otherworldly life can defeat the Minotaur tribe. On the other side, the gate of the Minotaur tribe was suddenly attacked by unknown family dependents. All Minotaurs inside were suddenly alarmed. Xiaolong Zhang's demonic wyvern incarnation praised. Put in more effort. You don't want to be taken down by Wu in the end. Sun Tzu's Liger incarnation told him not to waste words. I'm giving it my all. However, happiness didn't last for 3 seconds. The Minotaur hero from the tribe charged out. He raised the big stick in his hand and immediately smashed it down hard towards the 2 people. With one blow, he instantly knocked the 2 of them back. Withstanding the attacks of 2 large otherworldly life forms. Still not at a disadvantage. But unable to capture it after a prolonged attack. Xiaolong Zhang started to get anxious. Let's retreat. We can't afford to continue this battle, or we will run out of resources. Sun Tzu agreed. This type of level task. We can't pass it even if we join forces. Don't even think about Wu. As soon as the words fell, they saw a large number of skeleton soldiers outside the Minotaur tribe's gate. It seemed as if there were endless numbers extending to the sky. Both of them couldn't help but have the same thought in their hearts. Could it be that they were unlucky enough to encounter the necrotic disaster? Soon these skeleton soldiers and Minotaurs, the Infernal Hound and Lizardfolk forces have initiated a battle. The scene is incredibly spectacular. Large numbers of skeleton soldiers were smashed into pieces. Xiaolong Zhang and Sun Tzu found that although there were many skeleton soldiers, their combat power was very low. They could take the opportunity to break out while the Minotaur was drawing the fire. We will certainly not let them go easily. He immediately sent out a hero's necromancer to battle. With a single thought from the necromancer, countless shattered bones instantly aggregated together to form a skeleton giant about 20 meters tall. This is a skeleton giant made up of countless aggregated shattered bones. The immense body, that is 20 meters tall, strides into the battlefield. Just one punch causes devastating damage to the enemy troops. And those killed life forms, summoned by the skeleton knight, rose up again in the form of skeleton soldier, became one of the members of the necrotic disaster. Xiaolong Zhang and Sun Tzu were shocked on the spot. Lives killed by the skeleton giant can be summoned as skeleton soldiers by the skeleton knight, and skeleton soldiers that die will be restored by the skeleton summoner. Such an unbeatable lineup. They decided to abandon their family dependents and secretly run away. Unexpectedly, a 20-meter-high skeleton giant had already blocked the way. Wu stood on the giant's shoulders and waved to the two people. "Hello, classmates Xiaolongzhang and Sun Tzu." Xiaolongzhang's pupils constricted, a face filled with disbelief. "Aren't your core family dependents locusts?" Wu said. "Xiaolongzhang believes in reciprocity. I am here to see you off." At the same time of speaking, the skeleton giant has already lifted its huge foot. Xiaolongzhang watched helplessly as the giant foot fell down, roaring in frustration. "No!" Xiaolongzhang, incarnated as the demonic wyvern, quickly got stomped on by skeleton giant on the spot. Sun Tzu stood still in place. "Wu, classmate. There aren't major conflicts between us. It was all a misunderstanding before. I apologize to you. Killing me won't bring you any benefit." Wu immediately countered. "Killing you may not bring any benefit, but it seems that letting you go won't bring any benefit either." Sun Tzu was about to cry out of fear. "I will share half of the treasures I obtained in this dimension with you. Just asking you to spare my life." Wu does not have a direct conflict with Sun Tzu. After a little thought, I agreed. "Deal. You can roll." Sun Tzu scored 3,020 points in the assessment. He will definitely not receive fewer treasures. He fled in panic after signing the contract. 5 hours later, more than 80% of the Minotaur tribe were killed or injured. The bodies of the Minotaurs were piled up, forming a small hill. And the leader of the Minotaur tribe, the only hero in such dire circumstances, finally chose to surrender. Submitted to Wu's command. Wu considered it carefully and agreed to the Minotaur tribe's submission. Then the task was submitted and 90 points were obtained. Now his total assessment score has reached 3,570 points. He is 40 points away from the first place, and there are 2 more tasks to choose from. However, he was not happy for even 3 seconds. Another task worth 90 points instantly turned gray. Just as Wu exclaimed in surprise. The leaderboard shows that Shuangqin has just completed the task. The total score is 3,580 points, ranking second. Wu felt helpless. Now there is only one task left. If you want to take first place, you have to go and defeat the Shadow Frogman demigod. Even if you have more than 20 million troops under your command, it's not necessarily enough to defeat the demigod, especially considering they have the home field advantage. But in order to attract the attention of top-tier Capital Academy, Wu decisively issued the Oracle Army's rollout target to the Shadow Frogman's nest. On the other side, the class teachers have already counted the data. 11 classes have completed the assessment. Now only 3 students, Wen Tian, Shuangqin Wu, and Sun Tzu, have not come out yet. Letian Lu thinks they are just playing tricks. Currently, there is only one assassination demigod mission left. No one from the 11th class has attempted it. No one has succeeded in history either. Wen Tian, however, doesn't think so. Wu and Shuangqin did challenge the fraught demigod. We will wait and see. I have full confidence in my students. I didn't expect this ugly frog folk demigod to be able to summon a super huge devourer frog the size of a mountain with hand seals. In one mouthful, it swallowed Shuangqin's stormfinch whole. Just now, Shuangqin's golden crowned stormfinch transformed, circling in the air above Shadow Frogman's territory. Tens of thousands of stormfinches aggregate into a thundercloud. Countless bolts of thunder descend from the sky. The scene is a wild frenzy of thunder. The entire sky is illuminated by flashes of lightning. Soon, a large group of shadow frogmen were struck by lightning and killed. Such a terrifying energy instantly caught the attention of the demigod frogfolk, only to see it raise its palms. condensing an evil power in midair, transforming into a barrier that shrouds the entire fraught folk territory. The protective shield repelled all the thunder attacks. At the same time, the voice of the fraught folk demigod rang out. How dare you destroy my tribe and kill my people? I will curse you with a bad death. His words fell. A black light suddenly shot out from the barrier. Precisely hit the golden-crowned stormfinch transformed by Shuang Qin. Shuang Qin suddenly felt the sky darkening and the earth growing dim. Waves of weakness pressed on every nerve in her body, causing her to plummet directly from a height of a kilometer. At this critical moment, suddenly a golden light shone from the golden-crowned stormfinch. All the negative status effects on its body disappeared in an instant. That is one of the defensive cards that the Shuang Qin family gave her. Divine Purification. Just dispel the dark curse of the fraught folk demigod. Restore Shuang Qin to normal and flap the wings again. Summon a huge lightning ball full of electric light in front of the body. Threw it towards the dark protective shield. Shuang Qin knew that relying solely on her own strength was far from enough. She then ordered her 10,000 Stormfinch core family dependents. Together, they spewed out a remarkable lightning ball and hurled it forward. That's how tens of thousands of Stormfinches landed on the protective shield. 3 waves of lightning ball were smashed. Finally managed to shatter the indestructible protective shield. But just at that moment, the fraught folk demigod once again cast divine magic and quickly formed a hand seal with both hands, summoning the devourer frog to the battle. As its voice fell, a devourer frog the size of a mountain appeared in front of Shuang Qin. Its crimson eyes flickered madly. The next moment, a gigantic tongue about a kilometer long shot out, sweeping towards Shuang Qin at an unbelievable speed. Shuang Qin didn't even have time to react. Wrapped around by the wet and sticky tongue, it enveloped the body. The tremendous force from the tongue forcefully dragged the transformed golden-crowned stormfinch Shuang Qin into the belly of the devourer frog. Shuang Qin struggled to release thunder and lightning inside the belly, but it was to no avail. It's no use. This guy is too big. The small thunder and lightning couldn't hurt it at all. However, at this critical moment, Wu initiated a video call. Shuang Qin had no choice but to turn over its eyes. Why at this moment? At such an embarrassing moment for me? After connecting, Wu looked Shuang Qin up and down and asked, "Where are you? Your outfit is quite unique." Shuang Qin's face showed blue veins and replied, "Mind your own business." Wu had long been accustomed to her ladylike temper. Directly asked, "Cooperation? Otherwise, wait for another 10 minutes. Your stormfinch has been killed." Shuang Qin wanted to bravely say, "So what?" But in the end, she couldn't say it out loud. "Okay. Let's make a deal. If I win, I want the body of Shadow Frogman the demigod. The rest can be yours." Wu replied, "Okay. Then quickly order Oracle to send your Stormfinch to pick up my elite troops. I'm at..." When Shuang Qin found out Wu's location, she disdainfully said, "What a useless thing. Can't even get through. How are we supposed to fight now?" The fraught folk demigod, who can use hand seal, is really strong. A move dark magic night descends. It took away all the skeleton soldiers' vitality. Just a moment ago, Shuang Qin ordered all surviving stormfinches to withdraw from the battle. Fly to the swamp to meet Wu's skeleton million army. Wu immediately commanded a batch of iron-boned skeletons. Jumped onto the stormfinch's body. Due to the stormfinch's extremely large size, he made several trips back and forth to transport all the skeleton soldiers to the center of the battlefield. When flying above the Shadow Frogmen, he descended in a free fall. Many iron skeletons were shattered into bone fragments from the fall. Some were flattened by fraught folk immediately after they appeared. Wu doesn't care about these cannon fodder's troops. They fall apart at a touch, really brittle. But at least the pile of broken bones is increasing. These broken bones are the source of the necromancer's skeleton giant. At this moment, the necromancer is standing on top of that hill of broken bones. He clasped his hands together and issued an eerie command. Soon, countless broken bones seemed to be guided by some kind of force. They aggregated in the same direction. The next moment, a skeleton giant as big as a mountain appeared before their eyes. Its combat power has far exceeded that of an ordinary hero. At the moment when the skeleton giant was forming, the hero with 5 shadow frogmen immediately cast the dark magic marsh of despair. The 100-meter-tall skeleton giant body shuddered immediately. One of its legs sank deep into a pit, causing it to lose balance. It temporarily lost its mobility power. Wu saw the situation. He immediately dispatched another 2 heroes. Necromancer Summoner. Minotaur. His words fell silent. 1 Minotaur and 1 skeleton jumped down from the shoulder of the skeleton giant. Head towards the weaker Shadow Frogman family dependents in the swamp and attack. Only saw Minotaur shaman waving stone pillar totems in the crowd. In the blink of an eye, a large group of Shadow Frogman elites were smashed to death. At the same time, Necromancer Summoner also activated the Area Revival out-of-body combination. A vast expanse of white skeleton soldiers climbed out of the Shadow Frogman's body and showed a wonderful comic. The scene looks extremely creepy. The Shadow Frogman family dependents keep rushing out of the nest. Battle against the newly born skeleton soldier. The Stormfinch in the sky is also cooperating with the skeleton army to the fullest. Continuously unleashing thunder bombardments, the situation slowly began to show signs of a reversal. However, a demigod is still a demigod when it realizes that its family dependents are not its match. And then it launched the dark magic. Night descends once again. Soon, endless darkness shrouded the entire frogfolk swamp. Wu couldn't help but sigh. The terrifying dark magic skeleton soldier's vitality was all drained. Seeing a large number of skeleton soldiers falling to the ground unable to get up, Wu had no way to break the situation. All family dependents were here. Is it going to be a defeat? Just at this moment, the sound of iron cutting sore wind and the red dwarf tribe. The sound is coming from the realm. O deity Tion, we are willing to battle. I hear the sound of believers. Wu is extremely excited. A new day has arrived. It's a good time to reintroduce family dependence. The next moment, in Wu's realm, that huge teleport suddenly violently opened. Iron-cutting sword wind, holding 4 tempest swords, stepped through the door and entered the frogfolk swamp. Following closely behind were the entire red dwarf tribe. Each of them was fully armed. The leader, Divine Hammer, even picked up the Inferno Hammer. There are also dozens of large-sized ones at the back. Otherworldly life Infernal Worm. Pass through the teleport door until 100 spots are filled. And there are billions of locusts in the realm that cannot pass through teleport. Without intelligence, they seem to be communicating with Wu. Oh deity, we are ready. Please sacrifice us. The man sacrifices millions of locusts in the realm. Suddenly, a reward appears before him, allowing him to turn the situation around. Flame of Hope is a special item. It dispels darkness, sweeping away negative effects, and bestows divine energy on family dependents. A gift from a believer to the deity, hoping it will bring miracles. Wu immediately raised the Flame of Hope and shouted, "With the light of the sacred flame, dispel all darkness." As his words fell, the darkness shrouding the frogfolk swamp quickly faded away. All the frogfolk hidden in the darkness were exposed. The frogfolk demigod looked stunned. How could it be possible? A divinity creature actually could dispel my dark magic. Absolutely impossible. As the entire area was restored to light, all negative conditions attached to dependents of the Wu family swept away. On the contrary, each Shadow Frogman has also lost one by one. The blessing of evil power, becoming weak and helpless. Wu looked at the mountain devourer and speculated that Shuang Qin should have been swallowed by this monster frog. He then ordered Oracle to kill the devourer frog. I saw the red dwarf, divine hammer, and iron-cutting sword wind leaping up. By using his self-created technique iron cut, and the endless heat waves of Inferno hammer, violently smashed a large pit out of the abdomen of Devourer Frog. Then the golden-crowned stormfinch transformed from Shuang-Qin took the opportunity to rush out. The power of thunder wrapped around the body helped to avoid the damage to the stomach. However, after Shuang-Qin escaped, he immediately threw a huge lightning ball at Devourer Frog, only to see that the lightning ball covered the body of Devourer Frog. Weak and frail, it was instantly blasted into charred remains. The dependents of the Stormfinch family saw the return of the deity. Their battle spirit is stronger. Bravely and fearlessly they clashed with the Red Dwarf tribe. Charge into the center of the battlefield. On the other side, dozens of infernal worms flying out from the Wu realm also initiated self-explosion, perishing together with those frogfolk heroes. Lose the dark magic fetters of the frogfolk hero. The skeleton giant, 100 meters tall, regained movement. Countless shadow frogmen died under its feet, turned into a puddle of flesh paste. Seeing that the situation is already lost, that frogfolk demigod actually wants to abandon their family dependents and escape. Don't feel too pleased with yourselves. But I just turned around. I just saw Wu raise the holy flame to block the way. Under the shining light of purity, even a demigod cannot escape detection. The frogfolk demigod, who constantly uses dark magic, has consumed a large amount of MP. Now without the strength to withstand the upcoming series of lightning strikes from Shuang-Qin. Finally tortured to the brink of death by Shuang-Qin. It was only at the moment when it was about to breathe its last that Shuang-Qin stopped. It's your turn next. According to the previous agreement, I only want the body. Everything else is yours. The frogfolk demigod weakly says, Let me go! I am willing to offer all of myself in exchange for my life. But Wu says something shocking. You are already dead. All that you have is now mine. Before the frogfolk demigod can react, iron-cutting sword wind decisively brings down the Tempest sword in his hand. The strongest demigod in this assessment finally falls. Half an hour later, Wu instructed the skeleton soldier to collect all the treasures in the swamp. The skeleton soldier plundered and stacked them into a small mountain. He asked Shuang-Qin beside him, These things, aren't you considering taking one or two? Shuang-Qin said, We had already agreed. Except for the body, everything else is yours. But the conversation wasn't finished yet. Just then, Wu put on a crown for himself. Consider this as my way of repaying you with interest. Shuang-Qin knows that this holy relic is worth tens of thousands of magic points at least. She immediately smiled brightly. Well, in that case, I'll reluctantly accept it. But at this moment, when Tian's voice suddenly sounded, Wu did a good job. School leaders and top universities' admissions officers. All these skeleton soldiers are left for you. Hurry back. The man is not only going crazy and exploding 1,000,000 soldiers in the Abyss dimension, also publicly killing the esteemed demigod Shadow Frogman. Such strong power quickly gained the favor of many top academies. They invited him one after another to come early for an interview at the Educational Affairs Office. The admission officer took a liking to her at first sight. She was the girl who came with Wu, Shuang-Qin. Your family is from the genuine deity family. You have abundant resources. In this exam, you obtain the divine body to use for creating a Lord entity, right? How much divinity do you have now? The school leaders on the side were dumbfounded on the spot. Because they are school leaders. Have been promoted to demigod for many years. But no one can cultivate a Lord entity. Shuang-Qin answered truthfully. I have 4 points of divinity in my heart that amaze me. 4 points of divinity are equivalent to 450 million MP. It's simply lavish. The admission officer was not very surprised. Shuang-Qin, your qualifications completely meet the admission requirements of 3 universities. After you have cultivated the Lord entity, you can proceed with the procedures for prospective students and experience university life in advance. As for Wu, what about him? Then the admissions counselor changed the subject. His gaze turned serious as he looked at Wu. We have reviewed your information. Your core family dependents are locusts. Is that correct? Wu nodded. Yes. After confirming that the core family dependents are locusts, the enrollment teacher immediately put a cross mark on the form, and then continued to ask questions. Your current divinity is 1 point. That's correct. Wu also nodded truthfully. That's correct. The admissions officer then made a check mark on the form. The last question. We are really curious. How your Swordwind clan hero from your realm, as well as this time's exam showing. How did you get the weakened version of Skeleton Lord incarnation? There was a pause. Obviously, the other party did not know their power, so they refused. Can I not answer this question? The teacher, seeing this, no longer asked further. I'm sorry about that, student Wu. Although you are excellent, you have not met our requirements in terms of conditions. Farewell to the college entrance examination. Director Mei Su sighed inwardly upon hearing this. Wu's excellence was obviously not seen by the 3 admissions teachers. What a pity. Wu is not interested in these 3 top colleges either. But in the face of the attitude of a genuine deity, he remains neither humble nor arrogant. I got it. I will work hard. The enrollment teacher sensed Wu's emotions. With a perfunctory tone he said, I wish your wishes come true. After they left, Wen Tian comforted Wu. The threshold for elite institutions is high, so it's normal not to get in. If you're willing, there are several other top universities that have invited you. However, Wu had already made up his mind. No need. I only want to go to Capital Academy. He walked out of the classroom, but was stopped in his tracks by Shuang Qin. After I nurture the Lord entity, I will go to the top academy and become a preparatory student. Will you go to Capital Academy in the future? Wu nodded affirmatively. In fact, he is going to Capital Academy to inquire about the whereabouts of his lost parents in the disordered Star Ocean. Shuang Qin said, All right. I will also choose Capital Academy. However, I will enter under the status of a preparatory student. Capital Academy will definitely have access to a large amount of resources. By then, you may not necessarily be my opponent. So, you should take the opportunity now to become my slave. Speak while walking. I have also earned quite a fortune by my own efforts. Is it necessary to become a slave? I still need to organize the gains from this time. Just leaving now. Goodbye. Shuang Qin took a long breath. He's really a goofball, but he looks like a tiny skeleton. Still quite cute. The man absorbed all the rewards obtained from the Abyss dimension. His information panel also changed accordingly. Although core family dependents have not evolved into heroes yet, Swordwind Clan, Red Dwarf, Skeleton Tribe, and Minotaur Clan together have 6 heroes. He can also be considered a small parvenu. Now he can upgrade items to enhance the combat power of family dependents. However, the most important thing is to build the life evolution path for the locusts. The first one, Source of Corruption, is used to build the path of corruption through this life evolution of locusts. Will be directly promoted to the elite ranks. Will have stronger resistance and more tenacious vitality. Resistance to negative status and magical attacks enhanced significantly. Overall speaking, belongs to the evolutionary direction of protection. Let's just call you Abyssal Locust. The second one, the Heart of the Shadow Frogman, is used to construct the Path of Dark Curses. Through the Locust of the Path of Dark Curses. Will also be promoted to elite. Can fly stealthily and bring various negative effects to enemies. Goes the route of assassination. Let's call it Dark Curse Locust. But just then, an urgent prayer entered Wu's mind. Oh gods! Please forgive the foolishness of my people. He was actually dismantling the ore. Mistakenly, the holy relic staff given by the gods also fell into the disassembly machine. Oh gods! Please forgive his sin. Wu sighed, this is too wasteful. Divine Incarnation descended immediately to inspect, only to see Divine Hammer kneeling on the ground begging for forgiveness. Gods forgive me. He is the foolish person who threw the holy relic into the disassembly machine. Not only did Wu not blame him, he even helped him up. Remember this mistake and be more serious in the future. Iron Hammer, Divine Hammer's brother, was extremely grateful. Tears welled up in his eyes. Later, Wu looked at the rumbling disassembly machine with a frustrated expression. He was very curious about what would be extracted when the holy relic was placed inside. 2 flame gemstones, a golden crystal, and a source of holy relics appeared before his eyes. Wu discovered that the source of holy relics possesses restoration abilities, or upgrade the power of the holy relic. Then can't your own damaged gluttony code be repaired? Approaching it with a trial attitude, Wu made contact between the gluttony code and the source of holy relics. Soon, a magical scene unfolded. The source of holy relics transformed into strands of power that merged into the gluttony code. The information panel underwent changes. Ordinary life forms that consume energy exceeding 999 times their own can evolve into elite after evolving into elites. Previously, it was 1,000 times. Now the requirement has been lowered. If there are enough source of holy relics, the gluttony code can be fully restored. The question is, where can we find so many holy relics? In order to acquire holy relics at an extremely low price, he decisively went online to see what other netizens had to say. One post in particular caught Wu's attention. The poster is a genuine deity who had his weapon damaged during a battle in the outer regions, leading to a significant decrease in his combat effectiveness. He hopes to find skilled individuals to help him complete the repair of the artifact. Finished reading the post, Wu had an idea in mind. Repair this weapon that is both an artifact and a holy relic. Perhaps the source of holy relics might work. So he left a comment in the comments section below. If needed, please contact me privately. The comment was posted for only a minute. Wu immediately received a communication request from the other party. Can you really help me repair my weapon? Wu asked. I can only say, let's give it a try. After all, you have been posting for so long without finding a good solution. At most, trying once won't cause much loss. If you believe in it, just send over a few holy relics. The genuine deity has downloaded the anti-fraud Oracle Center. Make sure Wu doesn't cheat him. So how many levels of holy relics do you need? I can provide you with up to level 4 right away. Anything above level 4 will take some time. Wu said. Just level 1 is fine. However, he was extremely surprised in his heart. Level 4. This person is really rich. The man left a comment in the comments section saying he can repair artifacts. Unexpectedly, a genuine deity directly sent him 100 holy relics. When he saw the exquisite 100 grade 1 sacred items, Wu suddenly had the idea of blacklisting and running away. But as soon as he thought about the Realm Anti-Fraud Center, his head began to ache slightly. It took 3 seconds to calm down the restlessness of inner greed. With a strong sense of regret, Wu threw these 100 holy relics into the disassembly machine. Then the disassembly machine started to operate frantically, and flames were instantly ignited inside. Roughly 2 hours later, a large number of various energy crystals surged out. Among them, the source of holy relics also decomposed into 109 pieces. Wu immediately teleported 100 pieces of the source of holy relics back to the genuine deity, and greedily kept 9 pieces for himself. He was determined not to be found out. A few minutes later, the genuine deity contacted Wu again. Master, you are my reincarnated parents. I, Zhong Yuan, implore you to help me. Upon hearing this name, Wu secretly chuckled. Zhong Yuan is indeed a silly person. Meanwhile, the class teacher Wen Tian is absorbing the level 3 divine healing in his hands. His own strength has been enhanced. He is also one step closer to becoming a genuine deity. This is the assessment that took place in the Abyss dimension on that day. Letian Lu lost a bet to Tian in the level 3 divine healing, although there is a big gap compared to level 5. However, the quality is considered decent. Just as he was contemplating, he suddenly received a communication request from Wu. After the call connected, Wu immediately asked him how to acquire resources to upgrade the realm core level. He had searched online, but couldn't find any information at all. When Tian expressed that scarce resources like clerical position divinity, core fragments, etc., are impossible to find online. As soon as they are listed, large financial conglomerates snatch them up. You helped me defeat Letian Lu. I could give you my collection, but there is another way. A senior with whom I have a good relationship once took me to participate in a competition in a dimension called Bloody Arena. The winner of each competition there receives realm core fragments as a reward from the organizers. But if you let you and other realm citizens clerical position, battle against other civilizations' races, this may result in a large number of family dependents' deaths. Can you accept this kind of competition? Wu nodded. No problem. I lack everything. I just don't lack family dependents. In fact, he recently spent a lot of money training family dependents. He also wants to test the strength of family dependents. 15 minutes later, the two finally teleported to their destination. The Bloody Arena is located in a huge dimension and belongs to one of the civilizations in the outer region. It is said to be the property of a divine king. Wu had never seen such a novel place before. He looked around like a mountain child arriving in a big city. When Tian asked him to be a bit more restrained. Wearing a mask can conceal the demigods examine, and you need to fill out a registration form before participating. The arena here is divided according to the level of the competitors, divinity beings, demigods, and genuine deities. Unless the competitor specifically requests it, cross-level competitions generally do not occur. There is no limit on the number of family dependents for participation in the competition. But if you want to concede in the competition, family dependents need to have a death rate of over 50% in order to proceed. Headstrong players will persist until the death rate is 100%. However, Wu had just finished filling out the registration form. He only understood the rules about 70 to 80%. When he looked up, he saw the words, "Match successful," appear in the sky. Next, a teleport space appeared. Forcibly, he was pulled into the arena. The sparse discussion from the audience in the stands. This kid is obviously a newbie. Lacks experience. Like a hothouse flower. Got beaten a few times, and now he knows the dangers of the outer region. Poor thing. Facing the cruel rat apprentice in the first match. Though the voices are far away, they clearly reach Wu's ears. He found out from the audience's mouths. The other party should be a guy with a very bad and cruel reputation. And family dependents should also be mice. Between contemplation, 2 rows of words appear above. Please release family dependents. The competition will officially begin in 3 minutes. Then a guy named Rat Apprentice summoned 300 million rats. Kid, I bet you've never seen so many family dependents. Scared, right? After Rat Lord kills all your family dependents, he will let you go. Wu just smiled faintly at this. Want to compare numbers with me? Just watch him casually wave his hand. Countless billions of locusts flew out like a vast expanse, almost obscuring the sky above the entire arena. The battle between 3 billion rat folk and billions of locusts has finally begun. I saw rat folk take out a small crossbow. In the blink of an eye, they shot out 3 billion arrows as if it were pouring rain. Wu hesitated not at all. Issued the oracle immediately. Abyssal locust. Protection. His voice fell. A large group flew out from a vast swarm of locusts. Abyssal locusts with robust bodies. They activated their shields to deflect the first wave of arrows. The legion of locusts remains unscathed. The ratfolk continue to fill the arrows in preparation for the second wave of attack. Seize this opportunity. Wu ordered all Dark Curse locusts to launch a surprise attack from both wings of the ratfolk. only saw dark cursed locusts quickly merge into the shadows, sneaking into the rear of the ratfolk legion without their knowledge. Curse of sluggishness appeared quickly. The curse of weakness and the curse of blindness erupted at the same time. Suddenly, more than 90% of ratfolk were unable to smoothly load arrows. Following that, countless infernal worms came rushing from the front. They crossed the protection of the abyssal locust and attacked those who were hit. Ratfolk with multiple curses. I saw their four wings trembling violently. At the same time, they launched toxic spikes containing a level 1 holy relic toxic mist orb from their tails. In an instant, countless spikes fell from the sky. A large number of ratfolk were struck, and the toxin seeped into their bloodstreams and internal organs. Within 5 seconds, they died from the potent poison. The casualties caused by Wu's sudden attack were horrifying. Directly slaughtered nearly 80% of the ratfolk legion. Watching the survival rate of family dependents plummet, the rat apprentice is angry and heartbroken. Stop fighting. I surrender. As the rat apprentice declares surrender, a layer of protective barrier descends in the center of the arena, isolating the battling family dependents. Soon, a giant ritual circle appears on the ground. Then all the ratfolk bodies are gathered together and absorbed. Finally, they condense into a fragment of realm core floating in the air. At this moment, Wu feels a hint of horror in his heart. Because the patterns of the ritual circle are extremely similar to the patterns of his own sacrifice ritual circle, and even more powerful. After the duel ended, Wen Tian was very satisfied with Wu's performance. Well done. He easily won the first competition and helped me earn a lot of MP. Looking at the minimal casualties among your family dependents, are you interested in continuing to participate in the second round of the competition? If you can win consecutively, the realm core fragments you'll obtain will be 10% more than this time. Wu immediately agreed upon hearing this. Because of the reproduction speed of locusts, even if there are many casualties, they can be replenished in a short period of time. That's it. Wu fought 184 battles in a row in the next 32 days. Self-exploded only 100 million infernal worms. Still not as fast as their reproducing speed. Now, Wu's realm core has been upgraded to level 7. The realm core fragments needed for level 8 are even more than the total needed before. When Tian saw that he was feeling down, so he once again pointed out a clear path. With the strength of your current family dependents, you can try challenging a demigod. Wu was very curious. Will the reward increase if challenging a demigod as a divine being? When Tian nodded. It will be 10 times the usual reward for winning a normal competition. For example, if you battle a demigod next and emerge victorious, you will receive the benefit of 90 consecutive wins multiplied by 10. This means you will receive 90 times the amount of normal realm core fragments. After hearing Wen Tian's explanation, Wu felt a bit excited. He wants to make a big move with his 40 million grasshopper family dependents. Later, he submitted the application for the cross-level challenge. The receptionist at the registration office had to confirm multiple times before finally believing it. Can't believe someone would actually choose a cross-level challenge. The cross-level battle quickly caused a huge sensation. Divinity creatures against demigod. It's a match that many spectators don't have high hopes for. Because demigod has a higher realm core level, they can equip higher level holy relics. In addition, demigod also holds a clerical position, allowing them to wield divine magic. The gap is simply too big. When Tian told Wu that his odds are currently 1:100, everyone is not optimistic about him. However, Wu asked Wen Tian to help him bet 10 million MP on himself to win. Wen Tian laughed and said, "You really dare? I, as a teacher, am willing to bet 5 million MP on you to win. When you win, I will reward myself with an artifact." Wu looked speechless and said, "Thank you, teacher." But in his heart, he was extremely critical. Wen Tian bought an artifact to reward himself. "It has nothing to do with me. You're overreacting." Then he entered his own realm. After upgrading the realm, he didn't have time to add the holy relic yet. What should he add? He currently only has 2 holy relics loaded in his realm core, Gluttony Code and Toxic Mist Orb. But they both seem to lack meaning. Just as he was contemplating, the genuine deity Zhong Yuan sent a message, asking if Wu had extracted today's portion of the source of holy relics. Wu handed over the extracted 100 portions of the source of holy relics. Then he asked Zhong Yuan if he could find all the holy relics below level 4. Zhong Yuan truthfully replied, "Yes, I have many inventories of creatures below level 4. Feel free to ask me if you need any." Upon hearing this, Wu no longer held back. "Alright. Next, I need a powerful level 2 holy relic. The attribute is best to be poison, earth, dark, and fire. These 4 attributes." As soon as he finished speaking, 50 level 2 holy relics were teleported over in one go. Wu couldn't help but sigh. A genuine deity is really wealthy. Evolution. The Abyssal Locust and Dark Curse Locust have once again undergone evolution. Not only that, but also bred the Toxic Blast Infernal Worm. Evolved into Earth Blast Abyssal Locust and Shadow Dark Curse Locust. Just now, a genuine deity, in order to thank Wu, specially sent him 50 top-quality level 2 holy relics. Wu even selected 2 items from them, the most suitable holy relics for Locust evolution. The lava sphere possesses earth and fire elements that can enhance the defense and resistance of family dependents, improving their restorative ability. Shadow Nail has the shadow element, which enables compatible family dependents to comprehend the skill Shadow Nail, which restricts the opponent's movement by shooting nails at their shadow, causing an immobilizing effect. Wu immediately loaded these 2 holy relics into the realm core. At this moment, suddenly a strong gale swept across the entire sky. The next moment, 2 mighty forces collided in the sky, causing an explosion. The aftermath then spread to every corner of the realm. Soon Wu felt it. All the Locust family dependents were subjected to waves of impact from the source of life. About 80% of the Locust family dependents' bodies underwent mutations. The exoskeleton of the Abyssal Locusts became thicker. The Dark Curse Locusts have acquired the level 2 skill Shadow Nail. But before he could check the Locust data, a notification sound rang out in the realm. The participants were instructed to enter the arena and prepare for the match. Shortly after, Wu teleported to the bloody arena based on the notification sound. Now he has a greater grasp on this demigod battle. The arena was already packed with people at this time. Cheers from the audience could be heard from all directions. Elephant Lord, show them the mighty power of your demigod. Crush them. Elephant Lord looked disdainful. Today must be my lucky day. I actually encountered such a presumptuous divinity creature on the bloody arena. Newbie, get ready to face death with your family dependents. Although I appreciate your courage to challenge the demigod, that is not strength in the end. Today, let you deeply understand the terror of the demigod. Wu is extremely speechless, feeling that he talks too much nonsense. Just then, Elephant Lord raised his arm and shouted, "Come out, my giant mammoth legion!" As his words fell, a massive 74,009-meter tall giant war mammoth appeared before them. And leading the way was a hero's giant thunder mammoth. The mammoth legion moved forward, causing the entire earth to tremble. However, Wu was not intimidated by this group of mammoths. Instead, he directly opened the portal. Let the endless swarms of locusts surge out like a tide. Except for the suicide locust and lava locust. Wu has bred 3 types of otherworldly life locusts. They are Toxic Blast Infernal Worm, Earth Blast Abyssal Locust, and Shadow Dark Curse Locust. Elephant Lord seems touched. Otherworldly life. Is this your true power? I am starting to feel somewhat anticipated. The battle finally broke out soon. The giant mammoth legion charged towards the swarm of locusts. The leading thunder mammoth spewed out arcs of electricity from its trunk. Roast all the incoming locusts into charcoal. Wu is also unwilling to show weakness. The skill hit a regular locust. Immediately send out Dark Curse Locust to launch an attack. Only to see a large group of Shadow Dark Curse Locusts launching attacks from the rear. at the same time shooting out level 2 shadow nails from the tail. In the opponent's unguarded situation, the shadow nail with the shadow element was pierced into the shadow of Thunder Mammoth without any defense. Although Dark Curse Locust's strength is far inferior to the hero. However, when a certain number of shadow nails are released, even Thunder Mammoth will only be punished to stand. Every second when the opponent is immobilized is very precious. Wu quickly commanded Toxic Blast Infernal Worm to launch an attack. Toxic Thorn stabbed towards the head of Thunder Mammoth. However, they only lightly scratched the skin, which felt more like a tickle than an actual attack. The Elephant Lord couldn't stop laughing. Even if you can turn locusts into otherworldly life, so what? My giant Thunder Mammoth, even if it stands still, you can't harm it at all. But Wu showed a meaningful smile. Gently countered with a question. Are you sure? At the next moment, the Toxic Blast Infernal Worm suddenly exploded. The body emitted a large amount of toxic fog, instantly enveloping the nearby area. Witnessing his hero being continuously bombarded while immobilized, Elephant Lord started to panic. The giant mammoth legion rolled out to protect the giant Thunder Mammoth. Seeing the massive mammoth approaching mightily from the rear, Wu plans to use quantity to overwhelm. He immediately orders Bursting Locust to intercept. Soon, amidst the massive bombardment, a large number of elite giant mammoth legion suffered significant casualties. Elephant Lord's face couldn't help but turn grave. Had to use 3 types of savage divine magic. It is heavy armor, blood energy and healing. After consuming most of the MP, those heavily wounded giant mammoths, they stood up again at full health. Defense also became stronger. Even if a swarm of lava locusts comes, it can only reduce the defense of divine magic heavy armor, unable to inflict effective damage on the giant mammoth. Seeing the situation reversed, the Elephant Lord becomes proud again. Being able to force me to use divine magic has already proven your strength. When I have killed half of your family dependents, I will allow you to surrender. Wu found this statement quite amusing. Do you think this is all of my trump cards? The man awakened the weakest locust family dependents in history. But he took the lead in a game that was beyond his level. Demigod even used divine magic to turn the situation around. Put a layer of blood energy shell on his own giant mammoth legion. Resisted all locust self-explosion damage. Just when the demigod Elephant Lord was looking smug. But suddenly Wu gave an oracle. Listen to my command, he said. The Minotaur clan mobilized. Soon, the portal behind him was violently pushed open. A horde of Minotaur legion, numbering in the thousands, charged into the battlefield. Over 2,000 Minotaurs in total fought fiercely against 74,000 giant mammoths. The scene was truly shocking. The sudden turn of events made the Elephant Lord lose his composure. The Minotaurs are extremely powerful demonic creatures among the Infernal Depths race. How could they willingly follow orders? Without waiting for him to ponder further, the leading hero, Minotaur Shaman, has already begun to wreak havoc, ruthlessly slaughtering within the giant mammoth legion. Seeing the situation turn for the better, Wu summons the skeleton tribe again. After the teleport gate opens this time, it turns out to be a sea of bones. The terrifying aura spreads throughout the entire arena. Above it, a constructed throne slowly emerged. Seated in the center was the Lord Entity. On the left and right were the Necromancer and Necromancer Summoner. Wu jumped directly onto the throne, instantly breaking the very solemn atmosphere. Necromancer Summoner. It's up to you next. Received instructions from the gods. Hero Necromancer Summoner immediately leaped into action. Floated above the giant mammoth legion. And then raised the wand in hand. Cast group revival power towards the fallen giant mammoth legion below. The next moment, a large number of skeleton mammoths broke free from their flesh bindings and stood up. Without flesh and blood, they lost their noses. But their ivory became even sharper. Elephant Lord is still stubborn. Damn skeleton. Like a sticky toffee that can't be shaken off. But don't think that this will make a demigod yield. The giant war mammoth activates the skill war trample, followed by nearly 300 giant war mammoths raging with red eyes, trampling the earth in a charging stance, instantly smashing the skeleton mammoths, blocking their way into pieces, turning them into a pile of broken bones. Little did they know that this was the moment Wu and others had been waiting for. He immediately ordered the entire Minotaur clan to withdraw. Then he commanded the necromancer to take the position. The next moment, countless pieces of bones began to restlessly stir, gathering towards the direction of the necromancer. Shortly after, a skeleton giant about 20 meters tall appeared in front of them. With the necromancer as its core, it became the most powerful hero on the battlefield. With one step, it stomped and crushed a large group of giant mammoths. The Elephant Lord was stunned. Such a powerful hero made cold sweat appear on his forehead. He had no choice but to use MP again, doubling. Enlarge his only hero, Giant Thunder Mammoth. Receive the blessing of divine magic. Giant Thunder Mammoth's size wildly increases. In the blink of an eye, it becomes a colossal creature. The Giant Thunder Mammoth initiates a thunder charge. It quickly speeds forward and thrusts its two ivory tusks, crackling with lightning, towards the target. To my surprise, the skeleton giant caught hold of the Thunder Mammoth's tusks. Its skeletal body was not harmed by the electric shock in the slightest. And then, in front of everyone's eyes, Skeleton Giant made a handsome turn, and then gave Thunder Mammoth a shoulder throw. The blood energy shell on the body of the giant Thunder Mammoth that was thrown to the ground shattered on the spot. But the body itself did not suffer much damage. Not waiting for Thunder Mammoth to get up, Skeleton Giant struck again with a huge fist. Level 1 skill. Heavy punch. This is a fight to the death between giants and behemoths. Skeleton Giant knocks down Giant Thunder Mammoth. Want to take the opportunity to use the level 1 skill Heavy Fist, but is entangled by the opponent's agile trunk. Then Thunder Mammoth rolled over and stood up in one smooth motion. Then, relying on its powerful body and impact force once again, sent the 20-meter-tall skeleton giant flying out. The Thunder Mammoth seized the opportunity, lifted its hooves, resembling stone pillars. Want to end this match with a deadly trample. But the skeleton giant reacted faster. By a hair's breadth, narrowly dodged this deadly kick. If trampled, it would definitely turn into a ground of shattered bones in an instant. Soon after, Skeleton Giant delivered another heavy punch, smashing towards the head of Thunder Mammoth. The powerful blow made its head buzz instantly. Wu saw the opportunity ripe. Immediately issued an oracle. It's now. Solve it. Only saw Skeleton Giant riding on the back of Thunder Mammoth. Then punch after punch smashed onto the elephant's head. Let it lose the strength to resist. Later, the Skeleton Giant stopped bombarding and instead grabbed its tusks. Only heard an angry roar. The giant Thunder Mammoth proudly displayed its ivory tusks. It was unexpectedly broken by the Skeleton Giant. This is truly a disgrace in its existence as an elephant. At this moment, Elephant Lord is completely stunned. He never imagined that the hero he had worked so hard to cultivate would be so fragile. However, the Skeleton Giant seems unwilling to let it go. Once again, it grabbed another tusk of the Thunder Mammoth with its bone hand. The next moment, the Skeleton Giant violently snapped the poor ivory in half once again. At this moment, the Thunder Mammoth felt like crying without tears. Wu on the side was also surprised. He only intended to have the necromancer learn some close combat skills, without expecting it to have such a brutal effect on the Skeleton Giant. After the Thunder Mammoth's two tusks were broken, it lost its fighting spirit. Before long, it was severely beaten and kicked back by the Skeleton Giant. Its massive body was thrown back like a piece of garbage. Fortunately, the Elephant Lord subconsciously took a few steps back. This avoided an accident. He, who lost face, immediately issued an oracle. All the giant mammoths attacked together. Surround it. Avenge Thunder Mammoth. However, facing a large number of giant mammoths' attacks. Skeleton Giant stands in place without any sign of panic. It performed all the close-quarter combat skills it had learned. What's the shoulder throw, back throw, low leg kick, and leg sweep? All are practiced to the fullest. In its eyes, the giant mammoth, which is only 7 to 8 meters high, is like a toy. It doesn't even know how many it has smashed to death with just one slap. However, having a large quantity is not entirely useless. Hundreds of thousands of giant mammoths charging fearlessly into battle, continuously attacking the foot of the skeleton giant. Eventually, after killing tens of thousands of giant mammoths, energy was depleted. The body of the skeleton giant shattered once again, turning into a pile of broken bones. Witnessing the skeleton giant collapse, Wu immediately ordered the Minotaur clan to charge into the battlefield again. The Minotaur clan rushed in and rescued the necromancer. Soon, both sides were engaged in another melee. Some mammoths were torn apart, some minotaurs were trampled flat, and countless locusts were smashed into mincemeat. At the same time, the skeleton tribe also joined the fray. The necromancer summoner and skeleton knight together cast the revival power. They turned all the dead giant mammoths into one. Skeleton Mammoth Legion unafraid of death, continuously cycling back and forth. Wu's forces not only did not decrease, but instead increased more and more. So much so that in the subsequent 3 hours of chaos, Elephant Lord became increasingly frustrated as he fought on. Originally, it was 740,000 against 2,600. Later, it developed into 720,000 against 26,000. Then, it became 680,000 against 60,000. The enemy keeps increasing their numbers. In contrast, Elephant Lord's family dependents are now less than 1,000th of the opponents. This can definitely be described as a game-breaking domination. In the end, after 5.5 hours of competitive matches, Demigod Elephant Lord's mentality finally collapsed. He had to reluctantly announce his surrender. A high-level challenge finally comes to an end. The flesh and blood on the ground were quickly absorbed, and then all aggregated together into a fragment of the realm core. Wu couldn't help but smirk secretly. The realm core fragments obtained by defeating the demigod were indeed even more substantial. But just at this moment, a system voice came from the ear. "Student Wu, the Bloody Arena staff invite you to meet." Without waiting for his agreement or refusal, a teleport entrance descends from the sky. Surround Wu's divine consciousness. After a brief moment of weightlessness, he opened his eyes once again to find himself in a room. The serious voice sounded again. "Don't be afraid. We are the organizers of the Bloody Arena. We won't harm you. We have watched your match. Although there was some luck involved, it also proved your power. You are eligible to become the successor of the Bloody Arena. The Bloody Arena is a test designed to select a successor. Any player who can win the challenge is eligible to become the successor of the Bloody Arena. So, are you willing to become the successor?" Such a sudden question. Lev would be taken aback, unconsciously starting to make calculations in the heart, exploring the value of Bloody Arena. The man defeated the demigod in the underground arena. He was then received by the management alone, and they even vowed to make him the successor of the arena. Wu was surprised. Bloody Arena has a huge flow of people. There are also many different races coming and going every day. Just the MP earned from these people every day. It's not a small amount. Just such a big pie. How could it easily fall on my head? There may be some sneaky tactics hidden in it," he asked cautiously. "Before making a decision, I need to know how many heirs there are to the Bloody Arena. What treatment do the heirs of the Bloody Arena receive after becoming one? What responsibilities do they have to shoulder?" A projection appears before you. Wu, you are not swayed by the immediate benefits. It really surprises me. Since you want answers, I will explain it to you in detail. Currently, there are 349 inheritors in the Bloody Arena, with 221 of them being divinity creatures. There are 118 demigods, 9 genuine deities, and 1 deity. After becoming the inheritor, you will obtain the eternal coordinates of the bloody arena. You can perform device-free pinpoint teleportation to any dimension recorded here. Each teleportation costs 1 million MP. Moreover, you will be authorized to establish a special bloody arena in the realm to cultivate family dependence. As for the responsibility, when the number of inheritors reaches 500, the bloody arena will initiate the inheritance ceremony to select the most outstanding individual to become the master of the bloody arena. As an inheritor, you must participate in it. Wu looked pensive. In the style of the underground arena, this ceremony is definitely not simple. It is likely that these 500 individuals will have to fight each other, and the final victor will become the master. I am now the 350th. There is still a lot of time until reaching 500. Perhaps by then, I will have developed into a divine king. The administrator urged. Are you willing? After a moment of thought, Wu nodded after weighing the pros and cons. I'm willing. Soon, a prompt sounded. Congratulations on becoming the 350th successor of the bloody arena. As soon as the words fell, a red light shot towards Wu's arm, leaving behind a unique mark on his skin. This is the eternal coordinate of the bloody arena. Immediately, a wave of dizziness hit. When Wu appeared again, he was already in the hall. Upon seeing Wu return, Wen Tian immediately stepped forward to greet him. Wu, you are truly my lucky star. We have struck it rich this time. He then placed the phone in Wu's palm. There is already as much as 1 billion MP transferred onto it. I have never seen such a huge wealth in my whole life. Just counting the number of zeros, they are repeated several times. Look at his naive appearance. Wen Tian sighed. Wu, how to spend 1 billion MP is not something you can figure out at once. I suggest you first purchase suitable artifacts. Wu is very different. Right now, I am only a divinity creature, not even a demigod. Can I control an artifact? Wen Tian patted his chest. Teacher, how could I harm you? I just happen to know a shop selling artifacts. I can definitely help you find an artifact that suits you. Wu inwardly complained. This is just perfect. What a coincidence. The man awakened the weakest locust family dependents in history. But he defeated a demigod in a cross-level challenge. For this, that demigod even specially came to find him. Locust Plague, I finally found you. Elephant Lord saw him charging over in a rush. Wu immediately hid behind the homeroom teacher. Teacher, please save me. Wen Tian is also a demigod. Naturally unafraid of Elephant Lord, he spread out his arms to shield Wu. Humph. With me here, who dares to hurt my student? Elephant Lord immediately stopped in his tracks upon seeing the situation. He hurriedly explained. Don't misunderstand. I'm not here for revenge against you. I just came over because I think you have great strength. I want to be friends with you. I'm a first-year student at Jingxi University. My real name is Ming. Upon hearing the words, first year, Wu couldn't help but cough. Who would have thought that a burly man with a full beard is just a college student? Ming Xiang is very interested in Wu. You are not very old. You probably haven't taken the college entrance examination yet. Which preparatory school are you from? Wu answered truthfully. I am not a preparatory student of the college. Just an ordinary high school student. Ming Xiang's eyes almost popped out when he heard that. He thought Wu was not honest, so he repeatedly questioned him. How could he, a demigod himself, possibly lose to a high school student? Wu helplessly pointed to Wen Tian behind him. If you don't believe me, you can ask my homeroom teacher. Wen Tian cleared his throat twice. Locust Plague is indeed not a preparatory student. Although many academies have invited him, he has always only wanted to join Capital Academy. However, the capital was not interested in him. Ming Xiang suddenly realized. He thought to himself that at least the other party was someone who had been invited by many top-tier colleges. Losing to him wouldn't be too embarrassing. Then he patted Wu on the shoulder. I will report your matter to the college. I will ask them to lower the test requirements for you. When you go back, try to improve your core family dependence as much as possible. Maybe you can seize this opportunity to get on the list of prospective students for Capital Academy. Wu was very surprised. Will you really help me? Ming Xiang, however, laughed heartily. You have great potential. The road to becoming a god is long. Having a few partners to rely on naturally makes it easier than going it alone. And I have recommended you to the academy. As long as you pass the test, the school will reward me with some resources. It's a free reward. Why wouldn't I want it? Wu thinks this matter is reliable. Then I will leave it to you. Ming Xiang smiled and said, It's nothing. But to forge iron, you need to be strong yourself. You should invest more resources in core family dependence recently. It's best to cultivate a hero. After all, passing the test of Capital Academy is not an easy task. After saying goodbye to Ming Xiang, Wen Tian brought Wu to a shop on Huabao Road that sells items. Without saying a word, Wen Tian pushed the door open and walked in. What caught his eye was a beautiful demigod receptionist. There was no discrimination against Wu for being a divine being. Are you here to buy items of what grade or to meet which forging master? Wen Tian appeared to be very experienced. Help me contact Master Tony and say that an old acquaintance is visiting. Wu was speechless to himself. Just leave it to Master Tony to give you a haircut. Is he skilled in crafting artifacts? While Wu was complaining, the beautiful receptionist had already led them to a portal. You two, please enter from here. The two locked eyes with each other. And then they entered the portal together. I saw a bald man with a strong and stout body and a wide face, working on the iron. Lao Tian, are the fat sheep you brought this time fat enough? Wu listened and vaguely felt that he was the fat sheep that the other person mentioned. I'm running away now. Is it too late? The student followed the teacher to the shop that sells artifacts. Unexpectedly, as soon as they entered, they heard the boss asking the teacher, Is the fat sheep brought this time fat enough or not? Wu instantly understood. It's obvious that he's treating himself as a big fool. Is it still possible to escape now? The homeroom teacher Wen Tian coughed awkwardly twice. Tony, be serious. They are my students now. Tony scratched his head. Lao Tian students. Then I need to explain the service philosophy of our shop to you. Our shop treats everyone fairly. There are no student discounts. Wu felt like 1,000 grass mud horses were running through his mind upon hearing this. Is this how treating everyone fairly is used? Shouldn't there be a student discount? It's not easy for students to make money. They have to fight in matches to earn 10 billion MP with all their might. Wen Tian hurriedly explained, Wu, Tony speaks bluntly but is actually kind-hearted. His words may be harsh, but the items he crafts are really good. Tony chuckled and replied, After all these years, I finally hear some honest words from you. He smiled on the surface. But deep down, he was ranting like crazy. Who are you calling a sharp-tongued person? Who do you say speaks harshly? If it weren't for you introducing clients to me, I will just... Shortly after, Tony opened the partition in the exhibition hall. Come on. Let me show you around my works. Inside the exhibition hall, there are hundreds of artifacts on display, each and every one meticulously created by Master Tony with great effort and dedication. These artifacts are all imprinted with my exclusive mark, to prove that they were all created by my own hands. Took a few rounds. Wen Tian screened the prices of hundreds of artifacts. Then, he explained the advantages and disadvantages to Wu. Wu is considering the next steps. May have to face the assessment imposed by Capital Academy. Fell in love with a 2 stars artifact Gu vessel. This artifact contains a space that can accommodate up to 100,000 insect tribes to perform Gu cultivation ritual. The insects inside will engage in battles, and those who survive will have a chance to evolve into heroes. It can also attract nearby insect tribes. It is currently the most suitable artifact for Wu. Wen Tian's eyes are full of admiration. Wu does have good taste. Gu vessel does not have powerful abilities. However, it is the most suitable choice. Master Tony immediately handed over his payment code upon hearing the words. For divinity, or 580 million MP. How would you like to make the payment? When Tian stopped Tony and had a conversation with him. Please give me a discount to save face. Otherwise, I could also give you something as a gift. If you don't give me a discount, I might scold you. Master Tony is not someone who is oblivious to advice. He gave Wu a small discount. 6 billion MP plus 10 stars artifact surrendered. Eye of Probe. As the name suggests, it is used to detect biological information. It is priced at 50 million MP on the official website. However, Wu was planning to leave, but was stopped by the boss. Even changed his tune to address you as a valued customer. Here I have a fragment of a lost civilization. I have specially crafted a unique artifact that I think complements your temperament very well. When Tian curiously snatched it away, used Demigod's power to examine the effect of artifact. He found out. This spherical artifact turns out to have no effect at all. When Tian lost his temper on the spot. Tony, I treated you as a friend. You treat me as a big fool. I examined this broken ball and found no power at all. Do you really think I dare not lay a hand on you? The poor student visited an artifact shop for the first time. He immediately spent a hefty 6 billion to buy 2 artifacts. The boss quickly changed his words and called him a distinguished customer. He even recommended a special artifact to him. But as a demigod, when Tian could tell at a glance that this golden sphere was useless. Boss Tony quickly explained that this artifact is called Greed Wolf and comes from a long-lost civilization. It grows by devouring other artifacts. And it can inherit the powers of the artifacts it devours, causing anger from dozens of civilizations. It will forever disappear into the long river of history. The store is offering a great promotion now. This artifact from a lost civilization is now available for only 10 billion MP. What are you hesitating for? Wu's first reaction is that it's too cheap. An artifact that led to the downfall of a powerful civilization. What a joke. Tony knows what he is struggling with. He explained proactively. In fact, this artifact is incomplete. It has some minor flaws. It can still grow by consuming artifacts, but the efficiency will be 10 times slower. It can only inherit some passive effects, and cannot inherit the accompanying divine magic. When Tian on the side bluntly said, "Isn't this just a piece of junk?" Tony was very angry. "Old Tian, you can insult my character, but you cannot insult." After thinking for a moment, Wu decided, "I'll buy this artifact. I'll offer 4 billion MP. When Tian was anxious. "Wu, 4 billion is not a small amount. Even if you're rich, you shouldn't spend money recklessly like this." In fact, Wu was thinking from a reverse perspective. If one were to acquire an artifact from an enemy that cannot be tamed or destroyed, Greed Wolf's devouring power could just consume it. This would also be a way to weaken the enemy's power. He explained to Wen Tian, "Teacher Tian, I really admire the artifact created by Master Tony. With just a fragment, he was able to forge Greed Wolf. I am willing to use all my MP to support his forging. But the problem is, I am too poor. I only have 400 million MP left." I wonder if Master Tony would be willing to compromise. It may seem like an explanation, but in reality, it's actually praise and bargaining. However, Master Tony seems to be enjoying it. He touched his own bald head. Finally sold it to Wu for 4 billion MPs. No amount of money can buy a true confidant. The artifact Greed Wolf belongs to you now. Tony, a master blacksmith, pursues artistry and recognition above all else. He feels the Wu, and truly appreciates the power of this artifact. The scene shifts. Wu has already teleported back home. He immediately began the ritual to claim ownership of the 3 artifacts. According to the instructions accompanying the artifacts, he dripped his blood separately on 3 artifacts. turning into tiny threads of blood spreading on the surface of the artifact. The first to complete the acknowledgement as the master is the 0 stars artifact I probe instrument spirit transforming into a golden firefly flying towards Wu. Next is the 2 stars artifact Gu vessel instrument spirit, which is a frog. It leaped out of the vessel with a swoosh. The frog opened its mouth wide and croaked loudly. Wu immediately commanded 100,000 elite locusts to fly into its mouth for refinement. Results are expected to come out in a day. However, the artifact Greed Wolf remained motionless. Wu sensed the message that its blood was not enough. Damn. You're a vampire. The man dripped blood onto the artifact. Suddenly, it emitted bursts of light. Soon, a wolf pup that looked like a Siberian husky appeared in front of my eyes. That is the instrument spirit of artifact Greed Wolf. Wu frowned involuntarily. He thought to himself, "Is this really Greed Wolf? But why does it look more and more like a Siberian husky?" Without waiting for him to think further, the wolf pup suddenly started howling. It seemed like it wanted artifact as its food. Wu pondered in his heart. Was it influenced by gluttony code right after being summoned? But my ancestors, I am so broke that I'm almost eating dirt. Where can I find any artifacts? But it won't do to not feed right after being summoned. So Wu casually threw out a pure energy crystal. Unexpectedly, the wolf pup was as cheerful as a little dog. It suddenly jumped up and bit the energy crystal. After finishing these tasks, Wu meditated on the spot, thinking of the family dependents in the realm. With the repair and upgrade of the gluttony code, the family dependents of locusts have been greatly affected. They are eating wildly. Locusts are evolving every moment. And the other 4 ordinary family dependents are living enriched lives. The red dwarfs are mining and forging iron. The Minotaur clan is forging new totems. Iron-cutting Swordwind is comprehending skills. And Skeleton Tribe is gnawing on the dazzling skeleton crystal. Wu is very satisfied with the family dependents. The gluttony code has now been repaired to level 3. Just by eating, one can evolve into elite. If further repaired, upgrade, it can make ordinary life evolve into otherworldly life. In this way, my locusts, under conditions of abundant food, can't all employees be promoted to otherworldly life? That's tens of billions of otherworldly life. A few days later, the number of locusts in Wu's realm has surged to 14 billion. It's time to start a new round of sacrifices. He only kept 1 billion otherworldly life locusts for future use. Then all 13 billion locusts were donated for inspection. At this moment, the situation in the realm is ever-changing. A huge sacrifice ritual circle shrouds the entire area. Countless locusts have turned into streams of life energy, converging into the ritual circle. The rewards that appeared before Wu quickly earned his praises. Is this the reward for sacrificing 13 billion locusts? Indeed, it is so much better than before. 10,000 Nightmare Hunter otherworldly life. Option 2. The 3 stars artifact Dominion Steel Blade serves as both an artifact and a holy relic. It functions as a level 3 holy relic. Additionally, there is a chance for level 2 holy relic enlightenment stone core family dependents to be enlightened into a semi-human form. After reading the description, we didn't hesitate and directly chose option 3. Because being in a semi-human form means family dependents can use weapons just like humans. For example, Minotaur, Lizardfolk, and even Ratfolk belong to semi-humanoid races. But common does not mean semi-humanoid is inferior. If locusts evolve into semi-humanoid form, they can use weapons. Combined with top-notch aerial power, that's definitely an air force. As the level 2 holy relic is loaded into the realm core, a strong light descends from the sky and pierces into Wu's realm. Soon, billions of locusts rush into the beam of light. Roughly 1 in 1,000, about 1 million locusts, are affected by the Enlightenment Stone. The man crushed the Enlightenment Stone of the level 2 holy relic. Let 1 million locusts in the realm evolve into a humanoid form. That is a new type of species. Not only do they have humanoid bodies, but they also have acquired primitive intelligence. And the semi-humanoid form can use weapons. This is a huge advancement for Wu. After these locusts metamorphosed into humanoid locusts, it became an otherworldly life in one leap. It can also produce higher quality locust eggs. Even the faith energy has reached fanatical believer level. Each humanoid locust can produce almost 2 MP points during its life cycle. Just as Wu is immersed in joy, the homeroom teacher Wen Tian sent a video call request. After the call connected, Wen Tian said that Jingxi College issued a notice to retest Wu. Tomorrow, an admissions officer will come to the school to test him. All of this is within Wu's expectations, because demigod Elephant Lord Mingxiang had promised to help him. Arrived at the school, Sun Tzu, on the other hand, came up to him. This time he put down the pride of being a noble family member. How has your realm been developing recently? If you lack resources, you can tell me. Some scarce resources cannot be bought online. My family has many demigods. There are some connections available. Wu asked tentatively. Can your family obtain realm core fragments? I currently need from level 7. The amount of realm core fragments needed to level up to level 10. Sun Tzu said he can get it, but the price is a bit high. Even if we get a cost price based on our relationship, it's not a small amount. It probably needs 400 million MP. Wu is indeed feeling a little troubled. Sigh, indeed poverty restricts one's own development. But Sun Tzu added that if you can sell me 1,000 copies of Skeleton Knight from Otherworldly Life, it could offset this MP. Wu immediately became interested upon hearing about Skeleton Knight from Otherworldly Life. Deal? Sun Tzu has witnessed the terror of the Skeleton Legion. He didn't expect Wu to agree so readily. Should have picked the hero's necromancer early on. When Tian walked into the classroom at this moment, Wu, the examiner from Jingxi University, is here. He's waiting for you at the Educational Affairs office. However, when Wu arrived at the Educational Affairs office, the enrollment teacher with the Mediterranean hairdo was stunned. He thought to himself that this kid didn't pass the C trials, but managed to get an internal recommendation. But what can be done? The test at Jingxi College is much harder than the high school examination. In order to eliminate cheating, the test restricts only core family dependents to participate. What are the core family dependents of this kid? The lowest ranking locusts, perhaps? Here he had a triumphant announcement of the test content. You will invade a border town of a vast civilization called Dulong City. The civilization has a sound level system and professional structure. You and your family dependents will all be affected. Once identified by the system as a disastrous demonic creature, the workers in Dulong City will take the initiative to hunt you down and eliminate you completely. And you have only one mission. At least kill one of the heroes guarding Dulong City. Wu asked. Teacher, I would like to ask how many troops are in Dulong City and how many heroes are there? The admissions teacher smiled and said, Dulong City has a population of tens of millions. The probability of professionals is over 10%. There are a total of 5 heroes. For more information, you need to explore it yourself after arriving in that civilization. You have 1 hour left to prepare. Upon seeing this, Wu quickly found the class teacher. Teacher Tian. I want to use the class points I recently received. Exchange for 3 grade 1 sacred items. The man placed the core fragments into the realm. Instantly upgrade the level 7 realm core to level 10. And then loaded 3 newly exchanged holy relics. Level 1 holy relic. Poison gland has a certain chance to give core family dependents the poison attribute and grow a poison gland. Level 1 holy relic. Earth's core has a certain chance to give core family dependents the earth element, increasing defense. Level 1 holy relic. Fairy shortbow is both a holy relic and a divine weapon. It has a certain chance to give core family dependents the power to summon a shortbow as a weapon. The host deity gains the power to summon the fairy shortbow itself. 3 beams of light shot down. All 5 billion locusts in the entire realm were affected to varying degrees. Wu is more confident in this test. Most infernal worms have poison glands. Defense of half of the abyssal locusts has been increased. Almost all humanoid locusts can engage in combat using a shortbow. 1 hour of preparation time quickly passed. Wu appeared in front of the admissions teacher once again. He took out a crystal ball and said that as long as you hold it, you can teleport to the outskirts of Dulong City with core family dependents. Wu gently placed his hand on it upon hearing this. The next moment, a burst of light radiated from the crystal ball. Before long, Wu's whole body was engulfed in golden light. He was quickly teleported to a forest. Behind him were 5 billion core family dependents, so densely packed that they almost blocked out the sky. At this moment, a series of urgent beeping sounds rang in his mind. Intruder detected. Please quickly leave the current dimension. Otherwise, you will be identified as a demonic creature and subject to elimination. The intruder refuses to leave and is identified as a demonic creature with the codename Lord of the Fiendish Locusts. His personal information panel then appears in front of him, clearly documenting his innate items and skills. Wu quickly scrolls through the panel, wanting to check the level information of the 2 newly born heroes, humanoid locusts. However, after viewing it, he is still puzzled. What does level 60 mean in this context? It is difficult to judge without a reference point. Just then, a humanoid locust flew back to report. Oh gods! There are creatures attacking us! Wu immediately jumped over upon hearing this. On the abyssal locust of an otherworldly life. Departing, we are going to examine the enemy's situation. On the other side, a warrior holding a great sword. Observing this group of overwhelming locusts. Demonic creatures. So many demonic creatures appearing out of nowhere. On the side, the wrathful martial artist is excited beyond measure. Son, you should be happy too. More demonic creatures means more bounty for us. Once we save enough money, we can enhance the team's strength by the second-class change. The water sage in the rear is summoning the little fairy. Let it go collect the arcane crystals that burst out from the locusts after they die. There is also a fire mage, who has turned red with rage, continuously waving their staff to unleash flames. Groups of locusts turn into charred remains in the horrifying heat. Little did they know, in a corner of the sky, Wu has already seen everything through the eye of probe. And the information panels of the 4 individuals have also been fully understood. Form a character that fits the current civilization. Son Elven's level 37 Dragon Blood Warrior Tier 2. In addition, all 4 people are wearing a similar style of badge. The difference is that Son's badge is made of silver. The other 3 people have badges made of bronze. This allows Wu to understand in an instant. This Son is the leader among the 4. At this moment, Son already faintly felt that something was amiss. Killed over 1,000 demonic creatures. But the number kept increasing instead. When he was prepared to retreat, Wu issued an oracle. Go and test their strength. Just saw that hero's humanoid locust diving straight down. It landed in front of the 4 people. Son felt the oppressive aura coming from the other party. It turned out to be a Tier 3 demonic creature.